Hello, everybody. It's Monday.
Hello, mover. Wombat.
It's Wombat. We've got a Wombat. One U.S. Wombat.
Did Doug make it?
I just want to set the record straight. Can I do that right off the bat?
Sure.
Record, the straightness.
No, I'm not gaining or losing weight, depending on which Instagram comment you say. No, I don't have a beef with Mover. No,
Mover.
You don't know what my call sign means. And UFOs?
Well, hold on. Back it up. Why does it have to be?
Just want to cover all the bases since it's been a while.
Because
everybody thinks we have a
Gonky is the bully here. If anybody has a beef with anybody, it's Gonky.
Dude, what are you? Nobody. Who has a beef with a golden retriever? Everybody loves a golden retriever.
No, the whole country of Turkey, the largest country on the planet.
We've kissed and made up.
You've kissed and made up.
You've kissed and made up. All good.
What you drinking there, guy?
A little vitamin C. I'm getting old, dude. I need it. And this is not a spoon or
oh, hey, that's right. I'm supposed to be on this side. I forgot. It's
not a straw. It looks like a straw. Is it?
Mm-hmm. It's a chopstick, sir.
No, you know what? I'm gonna be honest. That's as much of a straw as those are zip ties. Right there. You guys need to get your act together. I can see right through your garbage.
It's not a Tuma. There you go. Right there. That's the zip tie. Wow. Okay. Well, we've got people. And we're here. I'm not in a hotel, thank God.
Yeah.
I'm in my command center.
So, Mover, how was your weekend? You've been busy. Man.
I watched Ghostbusters. The new one. Frozen Empire.
Is it good?
I will say, I have to say this because I bought the movie before I watched it. The critics are wrong. It's a good movie.
All the critics?
All the critics. Here's what I'll say. It's entertaining, right? You know, it's not like you look at the writing and you're like, dude, you guys needed to like whittle down some of these characters because there's like 40 characters in it. But it's entertaining, it's nostalgic, and it's Ghostbusters. And I would like to encourage them to continue making these Ghostbusters because I want to be in a Ghostbusters movie one day, even if I'm just a ghost. Even if it's Ghost Mover.
As long as the oddest string of goals in your life of anybody I've ever met. I love it about you, but dude, there's not a linear path to the goals. Like
I want to be a Ghostbuster.
The goals that you have in your life must be similar to what a target looks like when you hit it with a shotgun. Like just I want to be a race car driver. I want to be a fighter pilot. I'm gonna have a movie. I mean, I definitely want to be in Ghostbusters. Obviously, like what?
Mass Effect. I would like to be in Mass Effect too. That's another one. So,
but hey, before we forget,
yeah,
we're talking about movies. What's the important day, Mover?
Oh.
We can't forget this, so I might as well bring it up now, or we would have.
May 13th. Today is the anniversary of Top Gun.
Isn't that wild?
Did you look it up and confirm that?
No, it's true. And nobody got my Instagram post this morning about that. Not one person. You call yourselves fans.
No, this says May 16th, dude. No, see.
Oh, we early?
It's Top Gun Day. No, it's Top Gun.
Well, it's Top Gun week. You know, it's like when it's now. Well, this says May 12th was the New York City premiere. LA got May 15th. Listen, it's a whole week. We'll just happy birthday, Top Gun.
Yeah. Yes.
Let's go with that.
Greatest movie ever.
What did you do this weekend, Gonky?
What did I do this? Oh man.
What did you do today?
I flew today.
Oh.
Did you fly or just ride? Be honest.
You know, we're all just like you said, Wombat. We're all just passengers. So
that's a fact. Holy moly,
I was able to push the buttons in the correct sequence to get Hal to do what it needed to do.
You don't even have to do that. You just have to get them all on eventually.
They made me go today because I was falling out at landing currency. So it was fun.
Thank you.
Or you made you.
Well, yeah, because that's got to be a pain for you, right? Because like here, dudes do it by sport because they just drive up to the airport. But like for you, no. If you go out of currency, you got to.
Oh yeah. I got to go. Yeah.
Well, because he's the John Madden of aviation, and he won't fly to the training center, so he has to drive.
I drive.
Oh, is that what you do?
Yeah.
How far is the training? Where's the training center? I don't. You don't have to talk about it. We're getting too personal. Let's talk
personal.
We'll shelve
I flew. It was a great time. I had a lot of fun.
How's the weather?
It was terrible, which made I'm VFR only these days, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Obviously, like we said, we got strong storms rolling through where he's at, where Doug's at, where I'm at.
Yeah, well, there's a good chance we have cascading failures with Doug going out first, Mover next, Gonky next, and then Wombat's just running the show.
It'll be the Wombat show.
It'll be the Wombat show. I'll finally get to say whatever the heck I want, and then all of you are getting canceled.
You've always been able to say whatever you want.
My goal will be to get you canceled.
I can't wait.
We don't censor a Wombat.
No, that's bad. We're all about free speech. Ish.
I'll tell you what, man.
We'll see how this goes tonight.
Are fascinated with the fact that wombats poop in squares.
Yeah, I don't know why that's a big deal. It's clear why they do it. They do it so it doesn't roll away, and they can build the defense barrier around their burrow. What else you want to know about wombats?
Dude, I learned. You know, I learned something from you guys all the time.
These are things that I didn't know.
Wombat's defense mechanism is not their big claws. They actually piss on themselves, and it smells so bad that their attackers leave them alone. And that is not also how I got my call sign. Just saying. There's a lot of great Wombat facts that have nothing to do with my call sign.
Dude, can you imagine? Hey, Wombat pissed all over himself again. He must be mad at you.
The only two things I really follow on Instagram are car things and Wombat.
Car things. It's been so long. Am I allowed to talk about this, Wombat?
It depends. I don't know. Are you?
You're no longer. Can I say it?
Yeah, you could say that.
You are no longer a Mustang driver. We got to fix this.
Yeah, we do.
We do.
We got to fix it.
Yeah.
You're no longer. You have the Mustang's gone.
He has ascended. He has ascended in the realm of.
Now, what are you driving? What are we driving?
It's Volkswagen, I believe, is what you'd refer to it as.
Volkswagen. That's what Gonky does. Gonky calls it.
They're real reliable. They're really reliable. It's just a beater airport car, honestly.
Well, maybe
drive it.
At your
I do drive it to the training center and the airport, by the way.
Yeah, at your facility, it's probably for the course.
Well, I showed you that picture.
Yeah,
that was crazy. And the other guy's car, he's big on Instagram. He's a dispatcher.
Oh wow!
So apparently, I picked the wrong profession.
Picked a hell of a day to quit drinking.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for that. Should we talk about topics today, or are we just gonna kind of wing it?
Just wing it. Who cares?
Nobody's
listening anyway. They're just giving you money. Just keep
sprinkle it in there, man.
Okay. Well, there's a pneumatic elephant, which I'm curious what that means.
I like that.
In a small 1986 aviation themed documentary, Top Gun. Good job. It's like the certain airline that has to be air, lines instead of just airlines like everybody else. Top Gun, they showed LSOs holding the pickle button mechanisms above their heads while looking onwards intently. What's the significance of the overhead hold? Wombat.
That's you, dude.
Yeah.
You, as the controlling LSO, hold the pickle above your head until the deck is clear.
Can you
That
demonstrate?
goes back to what's that? Sorry.
Can you demonstrate?
No, I hung it
Dude,
up.
VA disability.
I can't. Yeah, you got the shoulder, this ear, and
Don't
this
do it, Wombat.
But we talked about it was how many episodes ago now? Because it's been a while. But we talked
40.
about the Prowler S3 craft.
Yeah,
It came from that. It was one of the things that came from that was you're going to hold your hand, and I'll tell you, dude, it has saved me. Because you just get like into this compression world where you're just focused on this aircraft, the weather's bad, whatever, and you're all of a sudden like, well, wait a second, get him out of here. Holy crap, I forgot.
Yeah.
So it was a really good. It's weird looking. It's the same thing as if you watch really good videos of LSOs. There's always one looking the opposite direction of all the others, and people are like, what's up with that chucklehead, right? Like he's not paying attention. His sole job is to watch the landing area. So actually he is or she is doing a great job if they're not. That is a hard job to do too, because all the action's the other way. So
there you go.
Do you ever find yourself just randomly putting your arm up in the air for no reason?
That is not where I find myself putting my arm.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Disability mover. You don't want to agitate it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cluterus. That's a name we haven't said in a while.
Yeah.
Pay-per-view fight. Mover versus why? Why is it mover versus wombat bare knuckle fight?
And if we're going to talk about how the last guy got Top Gun right because it's in all caps, technically Wombat is all caps too. But it's fine. We don't need to start by throwing stones. It's
two different people. That's two different people. If he had used Wombat, he probably would have gotten it right because the man or woman. I would hope a woman doesn't use the word pneumatic elephant, but it could be. I'm not going to judge.
Dude, it's 2024. But you can be whoever you want to be.
But this
yellow light Wombat. Yellow.
This person
you've just gotten started.
Got everything right grammatically as far as the aviation goes. Missed a comma, but we're going to allow it. So Cluterus. No. Okay. Next question. Renee, hey
I'd
Renee,
give you a hug on pay-per-view if you want.
There you go.
Wombat, we missed you. And Renee, I still got the thing you sent me. I just haven't opened it for a mover mailbag yet, so we're getting to that. I'm going to do that.
Anyway,
you do actually. I've got something for you.
Okay. Yeah, I've got something for you too.
This is for you. Yep, I got 3 of them and one for each of you.
That's right. Yeah.
Can I get it before the end of 2024, or is that a possibility?
We're waiting for shipping prices to come down, dude, before we actually get these things in the mail.
World's worst calendar delivery
contract.
The show's on a real thin budget right now, so
we don't have that kind of operating capital. Let's see. Kate says the team reunited. Life is good again. I almost wore my mover, Gonky, and Wombat shirt tonight. Do we have that kind of shirt?
There's no such thing. No, I'm nobody. You know how many people message me like, hey, you should put this on the show. You should put this. And I'm like, look at the logo, bro. I'm not there.
Oh, hey, by the way, buy Wombat's merchandise and buy Wombat's book, because the only way his beater will be acceptable in the eyes of his coworkers is if you buy his books and merchandise, because he cannot afford it otherwise. It's the clock radio thing.
Are we really going to start? Because
cannot afford.
I mean, we could shoot holes both ways on this if you want to.
When we fight, I want it to be real. I don't want it to be like, I don't want people to think that it's staged. I want it to be.
We're all about authenticity here.
Yeah.
Nothing
fake anything.
No. Thanks, Kate.
Yeah. Thanks, Kate. We appreciate that. Oh my gosh. Dory meme. Look at that dog.
I like that. Dude, look at that.
That is cool.
I thought that was a rat on his face. It's actually a mask. Hi, guys. Nice to see Gonky back in the show.
I'm here again every week.
That's a really long way to put it's Monday. That's all.
It's pretty much. Yeah.
Good job, Gonky, showing up every Monday. What does Gonky think of Malaysia possibly getting Kuwaiti Hornets? Ooh, that's a topic right there.
Yeah, I think it's awesome.
Proceed.
It's a good fallback plan for Gonky's plan B is what it is.
Correct. When everything else fails, maybe they'll take me. No, I think it's awesome. Kuwait's got a lot of Hornets that don't have a ton of airframe or flight time on them. And I mean,
do you know what models they fly? I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm putting you on the spot. Did you say Block
B?
Block 3 Super Hornets.
No, okay, no, the old Hornets. They're the old Hornets they have. Yeah,
the legacy,
real ones, the legendary Hornets,
yeah,
not these new fruity pie ones. Yeah, there's they're pretty low time, and they're very well maintained because the Kuwaitis had a lot of Boeing guys over there helping them maintain the airplanes. So, yeah.
Maybe not the best maintenance plug, but okay, continue.
Can we, Gonky, can you let us know which of these countries is large and small?
He cannot.
Compared to what, Louisiana?
Which would you rather drive a scooter to work in?
Yeah.
Malaysia.
Who would you rather insult? Where is
Malaysia? Hands down, Malaysia.
Who of these would you like to make? All right,
dude, I'm not going to insult anybody, man.
Allegedly,
people
outright.
Good segue. Good segue. Good segue. There's drama amongst the airline people, and it made it to the frequent flyer website of all things.
Of course it did.
So I'm just going to read what this says, and then we can talk about maybe what actually happened or allegedly happened or have not. So according to 1 Mile at a Time, in this post, a United pilot's flight in a Southwest jump seat. How this incident got reported. What? These aren't even sentences. What is this? What a terribly messy situation. Bottom line. Why did I need that? I don't need that.
Know.
So anyway, it's common for pilots to commute to work, as we all know, because commuting is the worst. Well, I think I'm the only one that knows that. Commuting sucks.
I commuted for a whole month. It was horrible.
It's terrible. It's the worst possible, like basically the worst parts of the Bible. If you want to put that in there, it's biblical times.
I agree.
Especially,
you should get yourself a car that you could just drive to the airport. You're right there. Volkswagen makes great ones, but continue with your
boy. All right. Anyway, in the event there are no seats in the cabin, they can also fly in the cockpit, or as we like to call it, the flight deck jump seat, with the permission of the captain in charge of the flight, not the captain not in charge of the flight. This is generally a courtesy that is extended, though discretion always lies with El Capitan. True story. Right. So anyway, here's how the story starts off. A fairly junior United first officer allegedly was flying in the jump seat, allegedly, of a Southwest 737 from San Francisco to San Diego, allegedly. The jump seater noticed that the first officer flying, allegedly, who also was a new hire, was using the speed brakes without flaps and recommended that he may want to add flaps, allegedly. The captain told the first officer to add power and cut the speed brakes, then he deployed flaps. The captain thanked the pilot in the jump seat for bringing this to their attention. The flight landed without incident, and everyone went on their merry way, allegedly. Okay, up until now, this story is straightforward enough. In many ways, a pilot in a jump seat is supposed to be an extra set of eyes and ears in the cockpit. Pilots flying know if anything's wrong. Sound like the pilot was doing simply that. Unfortunately, that's not where the story ends. When the Southwest captain of the above flight reported for his next trip, he learned that an incident report had been filed against the crew in relation to the previous trip. Unsurprisingly, the captain took major issue with this, even got the Southwest Airline Pilots Association involved. This has caused a bit of an issue between unions. Initials believe that the pilot in the jump seat was the one who called the FAA, which most people agreed crossed the line. After all, she let the pilots on the flight know of her feedback, and that should have been the end of it. She was going to report the incident to any party. It should have been the union channel, not the FAA safety hotline. As it turns out, however, what reportedly happened is that the jump seat pilot told a trusted agent / friend about the incident she witnessed. That person then called the FAA safety hotline about the incident without even letting the jump seating pilot know. And here's the post that started at Jean in NYC. That is a 737 torture chamber, aka the flight deck. It is not that spacious. That is a lie. It's a sim with the doors open. I'm telling you right now, there is no way there's that much room. I've flown it. It's not. So it's caused quite a bit of stir. The name of the pilot of the jump seat is out there. She's facing backlash from other pilots. Some Southwest pilots are now reportedly refusing to allow United pilots into their jump seats. And unions are sending out memos regarding proper etiquette when flying the jump seat. Situation is tricky about the trusted friend. Bottom line, United Airlines pilots was recently flying it just repeats the whole thing. And then there's some comments And if you go to the airline pilot, which I'm not going to show the airline pilot forums, but if you go to the forums, there's a little bit of what would you call it? Clarification post. And from someone who has intimate knowledge, she was not a new hire, not new to commercial aviation, did not call the FAA. She has proof of that. There are no jump seat denials that have occurred either airline as a result of this. Both they knew about the FAA, it didn't happen. Blah, blah, blah. So here's the thing. I have social media has made this so much worse. It's so much worse. Like airline pilots in general, we're pretty bad. I mean, we're pretty terrible, especially with the mob mentality. I mean, anytime, you go against the whole of the system, the grain, whatever, it becomes an issue. And airline pilots, especially jump seat rumors. I mean, how many rumors have you heard from the training center? Have you heard from the jump seat, from an FAA guy on the jump seat? We're all getting Concorde SSTs next week. There's always these stupid rumors that never become true. But social media has become the accelerant to that fire. So in this case, something happened, right? So the jump seat, from what I understand, having read this and putting it all together, this jump seater was on the flight. They were slowing down, going into the airport, and as happens, they were decelerating, and they put the speed brakes out, turned to do something else, probably setting up the approach or whatever. The speed fell below the up bug. I think Wombat, you and I were talking about this. Is that not a thing on the Airbus?
Green dot.
So in the 737, you've got bug speeds that show up, and it says up, and up is where flaps. Time to because it goes both ways, right? As you accelerate, you put the flaps up at the up bug, and then you need to put at least some flaps down when it gets slower than the up bug. No, the up bug is the down bug. It's a Boeing product, dude. It's Boeing.
That makes a lot of sense.
Listen,
it's careful on that. We don't want you to have any accidents.
Yeah. Wombat loves his life, and he's at no
very
risk
happy
of anything happening. So anyway, speed decayed below that, didn't get into a stick shaker, was never any safety of flight issue. And the jump seater said, hey, check your speed. Oh, okay. Put the speed brake back in, accelerate, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, literally. And so the dispute at this point is whether the jump seater reported it to the friend or reported it to the FAA. The jump seater is basically saying, I didn't do that. I just told my friend who reported to the FAA, which, by the way, what a terrible friend that would be. But
did it get reported to the FAA? That's the thing.
Yes, it did. It get, according to the unions, we've had union emails go out. It has gotten reported to the FAA.
Okay.
And so I think both sides are wrong here. This is Mover's opinion, doesn't represent anything. Please don't ban me from your jump seat for the love of all that's holy, because commuting sucks.
You can always ride on my jump seat.
That's what she said. So,
are we still talking about flying?
I don't know, dude.
Anyway.
Now we're in a weird world. So
dude, we should do a podcast from the jump seat. That'd be the ultimate cancel.
Yeah, of course. So here's why I have a problem. From the jump seater's perspective, it's a non-event, right? You debrief it, you go, hey, this happened. Okay, cool. It wasn't a safety of flight issue. There's no reason for this story to even have been told unless she was just like, hey, I helped out or whatever. And then the friend is an idiot if that's what happened, or she's the one that did it, or he or whoever it was. This should never have gotten reported to the FAA. It's a non-event. It's not something you do. And really, if you've got a problem with somebody that you're jump seating with, you tell them, or if that doesn't work, you use the union channels, your jump seat committee. Really, that's who you talk to. Is the jump seat
100%.
You go to the jump seat committee, they talk, whatever. Done. Okay. Now here's why I have a problem with everyone else. Why are we getting pitchforks out for something this stupid?
Because there's nothing bad happening right now. And
this makes us look bad. And I the royal we. It makes the entire industry look bad. We already have a tendency to like, oh, well, I'll ruin their career and stuff. That's got to stop. Because you cannot say this happened and she's banned. Like if you go to the Airline Pilot Central forums, you will see she's banned from my jump seat. I'm going to ruin her career. They posted her picture. They posted her employee ID. They went all the way out, which, by the way, you're setting yourself up for a lawsuit, first off. But second, what message does that send? If I am an airline professional and somebody says, hey, that flight was unsafe, I report to the FAA, and my reaction is to go turn around and blacklist that person forever, that tells the rest of the world that we are a good old boys club, that all we want to do is protect ourselves and safety is not a thing. You don't think, let's say that LaGuardia thing had been a mishap and it could have been avoided by a jump seater. Are we saying we cannot report something that could be a threat? You're a whistleblower at that point. Mm-hmm. You have violated so many levels. Now, granted, is that the proper channel? No. But once it's done, the system worked, because what happened is the FAA got it. They looked at it and they said, yeah, this is nothing. They said, hey, you guys remember this? Yep. Did anything happen? Nope. Okay, nothing. There were no negative consequences. If we're that afraid of somebody reporting us to the FAA that our entire livelihood will be taken from that, there is a bigger issue, and we are not promoting a safety culture. We are creating this mob mentality that if you speak up against the mob, we're going to ruin you. We're going to take away everything you've ever worked for, instead of perhaps the jump seat committee calling this person and saying, hey, what did you do? Oh, I told my friend, don't do that, okay? We worked it out. We smoothed it over. There is no reason this is a public story. None. And everybody that responded and said that I want to ruin this person's career, I want to blacklist them, they'll never ride on my jump seat. Dude, it's the captain's jump seat, but it ain't your jump seat. It's the company's jump seat. I hate to tell you this, but you don't own that airplane. You may be the PIC, you may have the authority, but it's not your airplane. So, like, it irks me. I don't know. Wombat, what do you think?
No, I agree 100%. And the other side of it, because you've covered my thoughts on, how it looks from our side, but now think about it from the side of somebody jump seating in the future that sees something unsafe. Do they not say it? Do they not? That's 100%. The more dangerous. I mean, I think it's ridiculous that all the keyboard warriors that are airline pilots sit there and just look for something to bitch about. That's all they do. That's all it is, right? The industry's too good. We're making too much money. So let's complain about something, because damn it, they took my pension and they did this and they did this. Listen, here's a news flash for everybody in the world. Everybody's been through some crap. Your career didn't go the way you wanted. I had a conversation once with a captain who sat there and talked to me about how I don't understand because they took his pension. And I said, okay, think about it this way. When I joined the Navy, I expected to do 20 years and get an active duty pension. I did not, because of circumstances that happened in between. Do I blame the Navy for taking my pension? No, I adapted, overcame, and I went a different path. Period. Let it go, man. You're stalking your ex-girlfriend on Facebook and it's getting weird. You got to let that crap go. So that side of it is that. But the other side that concerns me way more than any of the old timers or whoever's on these forums that are just sitting there.
Oh, I think they're young. Bored. I don't think these are all just young old timers.
Maybe they are.
These are some of the. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
If they're young, that's worse because they learned that behavior from a generation ago. But the thing that scares me more is the safety aspect of it, because I don't care about any of this stuff, right? At the end of the day, there's a reason why I fly. There's a reason why I teach. It's because I want people that do not fly and do not teach to feel comfortable getting on airplanes around this country and going to see grandma, go on a vacation, go on a honeymoon, and have fun with it and be able to have that freedom. If you take the safety aspect out of this job, they don't have that anymore, which fundamentally takes away the freedom that all of us have worked so hard for. So that's my other issue, is now forget this jump seater and what happened. Now all jump seaters are like, dude, do I really want to say that they're slow? Or do I want to say like, hey, your gear's not down? You know what I mean? It's like, that's ridiculous. Like, that is ridiculous. And it's like, how about we go back to being a team, looking out for each other, taking care of our own, taking care of each other, and building ourselves stronger together so everybody has a great career. I don't like, why is this us versus them? And like, I just don't get it. I do not get that. And if anybody wants to get on here and be like, Wombat, you don't know, you didn't live through it, we can have an offline comment. And both of these two gentlemen above me are going to nod as soon as I say this. We can have an offline comment about how things in careers aren't fair, don't go as planned, and how you have a choice to overcome them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Period. That's it's
Yeah.
just, that's ridiculous, man.
Yeah. So I my take on it is, obviously,
I love it, Doug.
my take on it is obviously, where do we get our news from? I mean, what to believe, right? So, hypothetically, if this was true, yeah, that person, like, you don't do that, right? You don't go
No,
straight to
there's
the
other
top.
ways to do it.
Yeah, you go through the committee, like we talked about. When I first saw it, I don't fly a whole lot, but I'm still, looped in. When I first
Why
saw
we
it,
need to focus on safety for everybody else, because Gonky occasionally goes out there and flies, and it's scary.
right. But I saw this and I was like, oh, that she's gonna get ruined. Is exactly what I thought.
100%.
And then,
That's
the chat starts going, and I'm like, the whole idea of banning like all of a company over one person, number one, that's wrong, right? You don't ruin it for everybody for one person if this even actually happened, right? And then I tell you the thing that I saw her ID and it said 777 FO, like San Francisco, and I'm like, it's not a new hire.
Well, you don't know.
They
It
are
might
getting.
be.
Yeah, I think they are
Might
getting
be.
because it's such a terrible quality of life that it just you can't tell with that. But
I don't know. That's a thought that's the first thing in my mind.
That's an old mentality for you, dude. I'm telling you, nowadays new hires are going wide body. They got street captains.
I said, I don't fly much, so I don't really keep.
Let's go back to what.
But what I'm getting at is, I saw that and I was like, I wonder if this story is true or not. That was the first time in my mind. I was like, I wonder if this story is true or not. Because here's the thing, man. Like, I'm the tin hat guy now, right? Like any crazy idea we accidentally landed on Mars instead of the moon. Oh, it's possible, right? So I'm all for it, right? So, but at the same time now, I question everything, and from my own pilot group, I tend to trust the news that I get there more so than just, if I turn on the news, watch it on TV. So, it's a reminder to me, you have to be careful where we get our news from. And then, you guys the safety thing is huge. Anybody that, I think as military aviators, we're all taught to be humble, right? So all three of us, I mean, I speak for myself for sure. Like when I'm briefing the captain, I'm like, I say, hey boss, I don't fly much. I'm a knuckle dragon naval aviator. Like, I respond best when you hit me over the head. Don't sugarcoat nothing. Just tell me when I'm messing up. So, the safety part does concern me, because you don't want, I've always been of the mentality, I'd rather have my career completely ruined, but be alive.
Sure. 100%.
But that's it's unfortunate, because this gal, she's probably been run through the ringer, and she really didn't do anything other than
I think about it. I'm sorry, man. I went on another tangent in my brain. I need to get more sleep. But
well, hold on. You said safety. Now, I wanted to hit on what you said, Wombat, because I always say we do these mishap reports, and we have talked about so many near like one thing changes and we're talking about a mass casualty event. And I always talk about, but for the grace of God go I, because it can happen to anybody.
Oh,
any of us can make mistakes. 100%. And the Swiss cheese is just like, it's just slowly lining up. And if you create a culture, even because I think you're right too. Yes, the proper way to do this, I mean, because that's going to be the reply, right? Well, it's not saying you can't speak up on the jump seat. It's saying that you got to go through the proper channels and speak up there. I get it. But if we are going to have a mob mentality, when things, this harkens back to like the early union days where it's like, we take you outside, beat the crap out of you because you didn't vote the right way. Like this is beyond the pale of it. And Gonky, you're right. We should take a skeptical eye to the news, but guess what is true? The reaction. I can show you the post. I can show you the post, and I can show you the reaction. This person should never have made it to public eye, because this should have all been handled internally. This should have all been debriefed. And I don't think it's a one mistake jump seat. Like, even if it were true, even if it did happen, I think you educate and you say, we don't do that here because there is no harm, no foul. Nobody got in trouble. Nobody was in danger of being in trouble. And if they had done something worthy of the FAA, then guess what? We are a safety conscious group of professionals. We should be able to take the debrief on board and not lynch mob somebody. That's all I'm saying.
Well, and that's the thing it's now turned you can't, we saw this in the military. You can't turn the culture into a one fault thing. So let's say hypothetically, the jumpseater did make a mistake and did report it. Hypothetically, I don't think that's what happened, but let's say that's what happened and it got out. Like all these people that are online that are just keyboard worrying how, they're not riding my jump seat. It's my profession, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure there's comments about their pension and there's comments about something and mixed into all this because you have to. They don't take a second to think about what they just did to that person's life. Right?
Suicide,
well,
dude. What
there's that. Let's not even go. I agree with you. But what about take it down a notch? Well, I can't jump seat anymore, so I guess I'm gonna have to move to my base. I have to sell my house. People don't think about the ramifications of what their little nubby fingers do on a keyboard, and they feel better about themselves. Oh, I showed them. I showed them. That was great. I really made a difference with my comment. I think I really changed the world by saying that they're not going to ride my jump seat.
Meanwhile,
and then they go back to their miserable marriages and their miserable lives, and they're not
hiding
happy.
behind airline pilot 6969 on the forums because I don't use my real name.
That's right.
Yeah,
it's probably a picture of an F4 as the
Wrangler
avatar.
extraordinaire.
No, that's the stuff that gets me. Is it's like, dude, like we have this mix, this blending of generations and technologies that's never happened before. We're like, and I don't know how you guys are, but in our contract, when we vote for a new contract, I think it's like a minimum of 30 days you have to sit on that vote. And that goes back to the days where they mailed you the contract. So you had time to read it. And now we're in a world where within seconds of this going live, this person's life could be ruined. And like, people don't get the difference of that. They don't understand the ramifications of what they're doing. And that's why I came on here. Like part of the reason I stepped back a little bit from this is because of a lot of the negative comments. I'm like, dude, I don't need to hang out. I mean, I like hanging out with you guys, but like, I don't need to talk about this stuff if all it's going to do is bring back negativity. Like that's BS, man. Like if you don't want to hear from me, don't hear from me. How about that? And that's the same thing. So,
but they do want to hear from you.
They've made it
but
clear.
The thing about it is nobody who made those comments, because like Mover said, did the plane crash? No. Did any of the pilots get truly violated? No. Are any of them losing livelihood? Nope. Have we even heard of who the pilots are, names wise? Nope. It's all this one person's life that gets affected. So I don't even care if they did screw up and made a mistake. It was one mistake. You don't lynch mob somebody for one mistake. Now, on the flip side, if you're a D-bag and you do this all the time.
Rule number one always
applies.
Number
one. That's right.
Rule number one always applies. I'm not, two things can be true. Two sides can be wrong. Like it is possible 100%. To say 100%. That both sides are incorrect, which is exactly, I'm not even riding the fence. I think they're both wrong. Like
I agree.
I
agree.
End of speech.
I agree.
Okay.
Anyway, so that's that. Anyway, my jump seat's open when I fly, which is not very often. So
I don't have a jump seat, so whatever. The terrible Tom, Wombat, you look like you've been losing and gaining weight at the same time. How's your beef with Mover going? Can you tell us about the UFOs?
You guys are welcome.
That is awesome.
You're welcome for my service.
That is awesome.
Trifecta. DG says, hot dang, it's Wombat. Questions for Wombat. Did you know LSO legend Bug Roach?
Thank you for thinking I'm that old. No. That one's
you look so good.
Is that like real paddles?
Yeah, he was like the original, one of the original. He's notorious. I mean, he's infamous.
Infamous.
What are some examples of LSO Sanskrit shorthand code?
Oh boy.
And what was the worst trap or non-trap you had while as an LSO? Gonky breaking the landing gear.
No, he
No,
wouldn't
I would have
do
loved
that.
to wave Gonky. That'd be easy.
It'd have been easy. Dead silent.
The easy way to
describe
describe the shorthand is essentially you take a pass. It's 15 to 18 seconds long. You break it up into 4 parts: the start, the middle, and close at the ramp. Those are your 4, and then you basically tell them: are you high, low, coming from high to low, or low to high? If it's a really good pass, little high, come down all the way. Okay, 3-wire. That's what you. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what you could have heard, Gonky, if you weren't really good at tanking. I remember vividly you telling me when I got the Hornet transition, all Hornet pilots are either really good at tanking or really good at ball flying. And I was like, which one are you at? And you're like, I'm not a bad tanker. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm pretty good.
I'm good at the
gas
no
airborne.
grade 1, dude. No grade 1 wire.
So
That's me.
that
All
is
right.
the short script on that.
Great. Here you go. Missing comma. Thank you for the answer.
Nice. That was pre-rant. So
Dory meme says, oops, I meant Wombat.
I love it.
Oh, see, now it makes sense. Because remember they were saying, welcome back, Gonky.
yeah.
Now it makes sense.
All right.
That's how we get them. We play dumb. Pneumatic element 556. Good thing it wasn't 223. Wombat, you said you got the name of the 3rd book, but I have a fresh idea if it's a trilogy. How about Finny Flight? It's new. It's interesting.
I'm sorry, I've said this before, and I do not copy the titles of previously published books.
There you go.
That's
Hard to do.
Yeah,
There's
buy
nothing
Mover's
new
book
under
too.
the sun. Yeah, please buy my book so I don't have to not get.
Go.
People are going to ban me from jump seats now. I can see it. They're like, Mover, you didn't go with the mob, and you didn't say that that.
You know
girl
what?
shouldn't
You
be
sell all
flying.
your fancy books. You can buy yourself a ticket. That's what's going to happen to you.
I'll be honest, dude. You probably still won't get there on a ticket, but I digress.
That's funny.
Well, let's talk about rolling delays. Kate says merch idea: Mover, Gonky, and Wombat ball caps.
It has to be.
Am I on the back? It's just a cube on the
You
back.
on the back, dude.
$1 million idea. Aviator Mark says both the Swappa jump seat chair and United Alpha jump seat chair said nothing was reported to the FAA and the entire story was blown out of proportion.
There you go. Wow.
Imagine that. You know what wasn't blown out of proportion? The result.
Yeah.
The result. I can show you 200-page threads in
that's
different
ridiculous.
forms. It's so funny. The United people were more angrier than the Southwest people, which is
Well,
like,
that does make sense though, because if it's true, it gives you the United people a bad name, and they don't want to lose the jump seat.
look, dude.
Right?
No
I
one-
get it.
I don't have that much
Like,
time.
if somebody stupid does something with my airline, I don't take it personally because I don't identify. Like,
No,
it's not
it's a
like,
job. It's a job.
yeah, it's not.
But that's the
I am
thing.
not
That is,
them.
I went to coffee the other day with a guy who he actually was one of the ones on the hiring committee for me to be an instructor. We went and met up, and we were talking about different career paths, right? About, well, you can go the instructor route like I've chose, or you could go wide body FO and stay senior and do that world. He goes, but you'll fail at every one of them if being an airline pilot is your identity. And I'm like, that's really good advice. Like, he goes, you could do anything at the airlines. You could find your little niche, but when it becomes your identity, you fail at them all. And I was like,
You
I
see
think that's
that
true
in
for
the-
more than.
well, I'm sure it is, but it definitely fit for this world.
Well,
It's
you
like,
see
it's
that
a
with
really
the
cool
age
job, man.
67 thing. You read all the people, they're like, I don't want age 67 to pass because I think I need it. I think flying is fun. It's like, dude, if flying is fun, you're in the wrong job.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Like,
That's a fact.
go
It's supposed to
fly.
be boring where we do it. That's
Go
the goal.
fly. Yeah. Go
Yeah.
buy an
Yeah.
airplane and fly.
Yeah. If only
Move
they sold
on.
airplanes to fly.
Move on with your life. Janitor's back. There's a janitor. Glad Wombat and Mover have ended their feud. Thanks, Mace, for being a mediator.
Oh, I love it. I love it. There's a whole backstory there. Maybe not.
Is there?
Apparently.
I
I don't know.
Nate says,
even
hey,
think
Mover,
Mace knows
Gonky,
who I am.
and Wombat. It's Alec. Happy birthday. Happy Top Gun birthday. Thanks, Alec.
Yeah.
Hope he got his shirt, by the way. Did you see the post?
Yeah, I saw that, man. He took a ride in an airplane. He got his. Yeah, I think he had his
Yeah.
first flight. That's awesome.
Good for him. Garrett says, instant gratification is what ruins careers in more ways than one.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Don't go after him
I
and
know,
Yummy
I know a
Pants.
couple guys who've had their careers ruined.
Just stay away from the enlisted.
Yeah.
Clueless says, my work has installed insurance cameras into all of our trucks that have a forward and rear facing cameras. Do you think airlines would do this as well to record incidents like the jump seat drama? They are already the new Senate bill, I think, is like 25 hours of record time for the flight deck. The
Which what was it before that? It was
two.
less.
It was
2
two.
hours. Okay, I need to know when to hit erase.
Yeah. Well, now
conversation.
now everybody's like, "Oh my God, this changes everything." It's like, does it though?
No.
Does it?
No, people are still going to talk. Now, cameras is a different animal, and I know we've been fighting that. And I don't think we need cameras up there. Like, do you really need to?
Nobody wants to see you clipping your toenails.
Yeah, exactly. See me spilling food on my shirt.
Yeah. The theoretical Apex says, Mover, have you seen the new OH6A mod in DCS? It's been very well received. Would be curious to get your thoughts. Douglas and I did a video last night. I'll be publishing that eventually. Let's get back on track.
That insinuates that we were ever on.
Well, we're going to get on track. We're 46 minutes in, and we have yet to talk about anything military related.
This is kind of
Gonky,
military related. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you gonna
Gonky,
play the it's a video Fort Lauderdale air show?
Yeah, Douglas.
Can I ask a question before we start the video for the viewers?
Yes.
Okay.
Who is Polaris? Like, what is their?
That's the
Jared
Isaacman's team. He's got the MiG-29, and this is what Draken actually started out as.
So this is all just civilian.
Well, they're former.
Military.
A lot of them are former Thunderbirds.
Yeah, so they're doing this. I believe this is for like St. Jude's. I mean, it was all for good
No,
cause.
I was just just curious. So, okay, go ahead.
And boom, look at that.
That looked like it was faster speed than I saw before.
Do we know they actually traded paint?
Yeah, there's a picture of the.
Oh,
there's a picture of like one of the wingtip tanks. Tweaked pretty hard. It obviously maybe it shows it. There it is. Touch wingtips. Yeah. So, and then kind of like we used to brief in the military, right? If we remember in the brief from BFM, hey, if we swap paint, we're done flying form, we'll come back separately. And so, like after this incident happened, they all kind of separated and recovered. So there's no. I mean, that's a clear indication. If not paint. If there was not, paint swapped, it was too close for.
They thought it was enough to, for sure. Yeah. Because I mean, if you're used to living in a world where you fly that close together.
Yeah.
And you feel you got closer, whether you hit or not.
Yeah.
You broke up the formation for sure.
And they declared an emergency here and landed. So, I mean, they did the right thing. And,
yep.
Anytime. It could have, if you fly formation long enough, you're probably going to trade paint at some point. I mean, I never have, thank God. I've been close, real close a couple times, but I mean, flying close, flying high performance airplanes really close to one another in an air show takes some skill practice.
Yeah. That's just people have grown up watching the Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds and, all that. And they do it so well repetitively that it just becomes second nature of like, oh, well,
but accidents still happen.
What do you mean somebody touched? And it's like, yeah, dude, there's
it's 3 feet away, man.
I would guess it's more difficult than an L-39 than like a lot of other jets.
I think. Well, I think easiest would be a Viper, obviously, and then Hornet would be the next. Would be harder.
Well,
just because.
I would say that the lower the performance of the airplane, the harder it is to fly good form.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Because you don't have as much excess thrust to fix yourself. And then it's nice to have drag to slow down, right? So
are we still making fun of the Viper or did you go serious on me? I feel like you went serious. Gonky missed the whole joke on what I was doing.
If you're going to make fun of the Viper, you have to call it a fighting Falcon. So we all know
never take it that far. Okay.
Yeah. So we all know you're wrong. You have to, it's like putting sarcasm at the end of your statement. Like
the Wombat, remember like when you went back to T-45's flying form, was it harder?
Oh, well, yeah, because number one, it didn't auto trim. I learned that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, as far as
yes, you have to be a better pilot because you have to think ahead.
Yeah.
You can fix a lot of mistakes with the speed brake and afterburners.
Oh, yeah.
Period.
Yeah. And
I was never not on time for my Marshall time in a Hornet.
Yeah,
ever.
I'm really just talking basic close formation.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%. Yeah,
I mean, Mover, what do you think, man? Would you agree? I mean,
I think
What do you
the takeaway is this: that was just the tip, just for a second, so we're fine.
Yeah, it's fine. They did the right thing. Good for them.
did, yeah.
I hope it doesn't negatively affect their demonstration
Yeah.
program, and they can continue to do good things because it seems like they were doing something good there. So
I don't have anything against them. I mean,
glad nobody got hurt.
Debrief it.
Learn
Slap
from it,
some
move
Mondo
on.
on it. Let's move on.
Yep.
Metaphorically speaking, of course. You can continue talking about it, Gonky, if this is what you'd like to anchor on.
No.
Okay. All right. Thomas says Tomcats. So speaking of it, I don't know if this is not an air show, but this is sad. A Bangladeshi pilot. So I'll start with the story, then we've got the video. The two do not match. Bangladeshi pilot killed when Air Force trainer jet crashes in Chattogram. Is that how you say it? But one pilot was rescued. So a Bangladeshi Air Force pilot was killed and another was critically injured when a fighter jet training aircraft crashed Thursday. Mechanical malfunction is suspected in the crash. We'll show the video of a Yak 130. The squadron leader, Asim Jawad, died while undergoing treatment. So that would probably be the instructor in that. After flying above the Patinga Navy Boat Club, the plane crashed in Patinga, an area near the Bay of Bengal. So they had the fire in the Navy and the Coast Guard. They ejected, they were rescued and rushed to the hospital where one of them later died. We have the video. So you can tell me what you think. Have you seen this video, Wombat?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, I do zero prep for these. You know that.
Well, that's what we hope.
So unless there was something mechanical that caused the continuous aileron rolls at 50 feet, one might assume this is what the Navy would call a little bit of flat hatting.
What the heck were they? What the heck? Also, those ejection seats sound horrible. They remind me of what the tweet would have sounded like. Like just the bang of the, instead of the. No, I know, but remember the ejection seat on the tweet just had like the shotgun blast. It wasn't actually a rocket motor.
The cannon shell.
Yeah.
Well, so it appears that they were doing some kind of impromptu demonstration for this boat club, and I got a little low and skipped, which is good. It's good to skip. And then the aircraft was structurally compromised, causing them to eject, which resulted in the fatality of one of the pilots, which is very sad because you don't want a mistake to turn into a fatality. However, I wonder about flight discipline. And, you know, we've seen this in so many mishaps. Most recently, there have been rumors of Finney flights that have turned to fatalities because people were showboating a little bit. And then, you know, we've got the ZAR 52, the B-52 that crashed, and the C-17 that crashed. This is something that happens as long as aviation has been around. People have done things like this, and sometimes with, you know, relatively few consequences and sometimes with dire consequences. It appears that this is one of those times, and I hate to see it, to be honest with you. I mean, there's nothing good about it. What do you guys think?
I don't know much about that plane, so I'll admit right there. But at the speed they were going, at least the way it looks in the video, that just looks like an aileron roll, right? Isn't that what you guys take that as? But why did the nose drop so much? I mean, is that just that plane? Because I mean, dude, a Hornet and a Viper, and a T-45. I mean, the nose really came down. Like it was like, I don't want to be the guy. I mean, it likely was flat hatting and they probably screwed up, but it almost looks like there was some sort of weird control issue if you go back and watch, like it's not a tight spiral. And I know aileron rolls aren't perfect, right? I mean, the T-45 kind of did more of a long. That's why I hated sitting in the back seat for him, because you're up high. But
Hold on,
like
this time I will not mute. It muted your mic last time. Let's see if I can play it again. And then you can just. All right, your mic is unmuted. You may speak. Oh no, I guess you can't. Oh no, let me unmute the mic. Okay, it's just me talking.
Maybe it's just a bad vector.
Maybe
it's just a bad vector. Yeah, I mean, when I look back at it, it looks like their nose is low when they do the aileron roll.
That's the way aileron rolls, unless you consciously do it if you're lazy about it.
Yeah, I take it back. The first time I saw it, though, it was like something didn't look right, but it could just be that if they have a velocity vector, it's no. I mean, you can do an aileron roll at 100 feet if you want to. It's just you better have your lift vector in the right place when you do it, and below the horizon's not a good place to do it.
Yeah, so like Wombat, I don't know much about the Yak 130, but if it doesn't have like digital flight controls, even at higher speeds, you pick the nose up and then you do the aileron roll. Basic aerodynamics. As soon as you crack the wings, you lose a vertical component of lift. Down you go.
The big drain on Gonky. Man,
they used to teach us
20 years of aviation is finally
it's in there, man. Now, digital flight control airplane. So when I first saw this, I mean, obviously I have my own opinions, and it probably is, not to speculate, but it probably is, a little bit of showing off. But
yeah,
when I was on the demo team, in the Hornet, the first thing when you take off, you do the dirty roll and you clean up, right? Once she rolls back right side up, gears up. Well, one of the guys, and this is the Hornet obviously has digital flight controls. And so in order to make the airplane roll more crisper, if you will, sharply, I should say, as it was rolling, he unloaded, right? To maybe clean up the wings a little bit and get it to roll sharper. Well, when he got inverted with that slight push of the stick, the flight control computers were like, ooh, we don't like this. We might stall, so we're going to stop rolling. So here he is inverted like 100 feet off the runway. And the airplane's he's like trying to get it to roll. It's not rolling. And now it's starting to, even with digital flight controls, like, the nose will start to drift. And he starts coming towards the ground. And thankfully, he had the wherewithal, as we're kind of taught in fly-by-wire airplanes, if it ain't going the way you want it to, kind of let go, like relax. So he relaxed for a second. The positive G, or more positive G, came back to the airplane, and then he was able to roll it upright. Almost did the same thing these guys did at lower speed. But so I don't know if the Yak had some sort of
it does. So if you read, this is possible through the use of open architecture, digital avionics compliant with the 1553 database, full digital glass cockpit, 4-channel digital fly-by-wire system, and instructor controlled and variable fly-by-wire, some handling characteristics and embedded simulation.
Yeah. So am I saying that's what happened?
It could very well be what it was in that case where.
Yeah. I mean, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. The moral of the story is, tragically, somebody was killed, and then, somebody is obviously in critical condition. So a lot of people's lives, unfortunately, affected in this. So, I mean, at least, one of them got out, and I've watched that video a couple times, man. I didn't see a second shoot. I couldn't tell if
I heard two bangs. So I heard two bangs.
You hear them. It's just the camera guys not.
Could be the canopy first bang. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It's
sad.
The
aircraft appear to be breaking apart. So your ejection envelope changes dramatically when the aircraft is in a rapid unscheduled disassembly.
Yeah, that's a good point. No, this is, I mean, as much as I joke with you guys on this stuff, this is actually a really good discussion, because you could see the different backgrounds of all three of us, and like piecing it together. It's like, it could have been exactly what happened to your buddy doing that, because it's fly-by-wire, right? I mean, we teach that, or I teach that. Everybody that has never flown an Airbus comes and is so worried about the Airbus flying it because they've watched these scary YouTube videos of it in crosswind landings. Well, that's a whole different animal. But it's fly-by-wire. I go, if you start putting in control inputs like a conventional airplane to fly-by-wire, the computers just get confused. Like, it's not, you have to fly it like a fly-by-wire aircraft. It's very different. So, it's tragic, and I feel horrible for the families. And hopefully they learned something and it wasn't in vain.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous job.
All right, less depressing news. Probably South Korea has said goodbye to the F4.
That's right. 1969 to 2024. That's crazy.
Jeez, that's
The E model too, right? F4E. I mean, there was a cascade of models after that. So, yeah, they were
out that
finally
video.
retired. I tell you what, like, I want to know, what is the high time F4E driver in? It's like he's been
2,000
flying.
hours. He just hasn't been flying that much.
Is it to send all hate mail to?
He finally got his 1,000-hour phantom patch.
I don't know. Like,
That's the flight right there, actually.
and I think it's super cool that they flanked it with forget the name of this. It's their own fighter jet that they made.
KF-21.
Yeah, the KF-21. Sorry.
Yeah, it is cool.
But I just, man, I love the Phantom. I'm a big fan.
Oh,
The DCS stuff's coming out. My dad worked on them in Vietnam, and it's always been an airplane. Yeah, it's like, dude, the Phantom to me is a 67 427 Corvette.
It is 100% the muscle car
Yeah.
of fighter jets.
Yeah, side pipes, dude. 4-speed Moonsea. I mean,
We'll fix everything with just more horsepower. Like,
Yes.
I don't know if aerodynamically it looks like it'll fly.
Doesn't matter.
Don't worry about it. We got it.
Doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, that thing was awesome.
I don't know, Mover. Sorry. Every time I see a Phantom, I'm just like, man.
They're
60s
upgraded.
music.
These aren't the old school.
I know, but still, I mean,
They'd
the
almost have to
airframe.
be, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're not going to be able to come out and play in any semi-modern air battle in a legit 1969 F4E.
So here, this is an article from way back, and this is on f16.net. So,
oh boy,
whatever the authenticity of this is, but it says the aircraft will be upgraded. Nope, that's the Viper. Where's the F4?
That's an
mind.
F-16 there, Mover.
Yeah, that's an F-16.
Never
mind.
It says
Never
Fighting
mind.
Falcon right on the top.
There was a thing about the F4, and then I clicked it, and this is what happens when you end up in a rabbit hole. Never mind. I'm not going to talk about it.
Damn you, internet.
I should have. But some of them were upgraded because we were corrected. We were corrected last time about the F4s and what was it, Greece? The Hellenic Air Force, where they were getting rid of them, and they're like, no, those are upgraded, and they have really good avionics. And I was trying to find what the F4E that the ROCAF had, but there's not much on it, so they could just be original ones.
No,
the F4 in DCS is coming out next week.
Yeah, it's awesome. Cool. Was that the second trailer that came out that you sent me the other day?
Oh, dude, that's like the fourth trailer. There's so many trailers that have come out.
They get. I mean, I'll watch them. They're good.
Yeah, there's been a bunch of trailers. So, yeah, cool. Let's see. From the kids at home, Janitor's back says, "I know Mover is not a fan, but is Wombat going to see Top Gun 3: Maverick Saves the Blue Angels on IMAX?"
It's only going to be on IMAX for a week. Or in a week. Those are two different
week.
It's going to be on Amazon. So
it's
I was waiting. I showed it to my wife. My boy is going to lose it.
Yeah,
I showed him the trailer. Yeah. Dude, he's like, Dad. I'm like, no, I get it. They're good. They fly the same flight for 300 days every year.
Yeah, that's right, dude.
My wife's like, don't do that. I'm like, but because we're going to see him when we come down in July. He can't wait, man. We'll have to go see it.
My wife and kids were at the beach the other day. I was literally on the phone with my wife, and I heard the wife says like, "Mom, the Blue Angels."
Yeah.
Wife and kids, sir, are almost door from the day. I've never even seen them.
That's right.
I still don't know what that means.
That doesn't make any sense.
It means you're never around.
It seems like something I would say.
Hey, sequencing to PERS 43. No, nothing.
We got to talk about this next thing that's going to get me fired here in a second. So the Secretary of the Air Force rode an F-16 with autonomous AI in Eggland, and he had some comments. So the future loyal wingmen of the United States Air Force are inching closer to becoming a reality more importantly, artificial intelligence. And then the assessment was from the Air Force Secretary Frank Kendall, who recently took flight in the autonomously controlled X-62 Alpha Vista variable in-flight simulation test aircraft, modified. We're not going to say the Fighting Falcon, but we just said it. Damn it. So anyway, this is kind of part of the NGAD and the system of systems and 6th gen and what's next. So we went out for this ride, and on May 2nd, he went to Edwards. I thought he went to Eglin.
I thought he went.
Did he do 2 rides? Oh no.
No,
Well, it says flight at Edwards. I thought he went to Eglin. Did he fly twice? But anyway, it came just weeks after the service announced the F-16 fighting. Why do they keep baiting me into this?
Keep saying
and taking part in a series of simulated dogfights.
Feels good.
We already covered this. So, if you guys want to look back at our previous video, go right ahead. According to Kendall, during his time in the cockpit of the autonomous aircraft, the AI was able to maneuver the fighter and could simulate an engagement against a man F-16 piloted by an aviator with 2,000 to 3,000 hours of experience. So, okay. I want to go. I have to know what is
what's the background.
He's 75 years old. He is 75. Put the banner up. Put the banner up.
Hold on.
I'm about to say,
it's a 4G fight max.
I'm about to say, put the banner up.
No.
Put the banner up. Okay.
Quickly.
Get your wings, throw them.
Dude, this guy, before I was even born, was an active duty U.S. Army officer, various assignments, continued service as an Army Reserve officer, retiring as a lieutenant colonel in January of 1999.
Nice.
June 1982 to 1986, he was a system engineer with the Army Ballistic Missile Command. And then 86 to 88, Deputy Under Secretary of Defense for Strategic Defense Systems, Deputy Director for Defense. Oh, God, whatever. A lot of words.
He's got a lot of titles.
All these titles, this person, which I for one welcome our SecAF overlord. However,
sir,
he is not a pilot. He has 0 aviation background.
So wait, the Secretary of the Air Force has no aviation background.
You might as well pull a 75-year-old from Congress to talk about this, because anyway, sorry, please don't fire me. Well, I don't care. I'm
you stumbled on yet another problem here, Mover.
Look, Gonky, here's the thing. I'm going to
continue
banned from the jump seat, and I'm going to get
pretty much
on my day.
I got nowhere else to go.
Where's Mover's office? Mover who?
It's like,
hey, brig.
Wouldn't be the first time they tried to fire me. I'm like a sticky booger. Anyway, so he said, very good progress is being made. It's easy to see a situation where they're going to be able to do this job, generally speaking, better than humans. Okay. And then he said that the unmanned loyal wingmen that support the manned fighter, developing an overall engagement strategy, selecting and prioritizing targets, determine the best weapons to employ. There's a lot of discussion in the community about the need to regulate AI. Who has said that? Maybe he watches the show, which is even worse.
Yeah,
for me. We have already
just
rules
have a follower click off, because maybe that's one less subscription.
Benson, you get get the LOR paperwork going now. Article 15. Go.
Just copy paste. It's fine.
I'll write it for you, so I'll let you know. Don't worry.
What's another one? But what I think we need to do is figure out how to apply these to these type of issues. At the end of the day, human beings are still responsible for creating, testing, and putting those machines out and using them. So we have to figure out how to hold these people accountable. If only somebody said that on the show. I think the future is remaining clearer. I think the only question that really remains is who's going to go out there first. No, I skipped it. They talked about the Terminator and the killer robots, but he actually had a whole debrief on this. There we go. So he said, speaking at the Ash Carter Exchange conference in Washington, D.C., the Air Secretary, is that really how you shortened that?
Yeah.
I would
that's a real kick in the pants at the end of your career, isn't it?
Well, I mean, like, what would you call this? Is it the Sea Secretary?
The Sea
like
Secretary?
The ground Secretary? The Space Secretary? The Puddle Pirate Secretary? No, they don't have one. That's just HS.
It's under the Navy.
Yeah. Speaking anyway, it was roughly an even fight, but against the less experienced pilot, the AI, the automation would have performed better. How do you know, sir?
Listen, if we're going to talk about people with clearly long, outstanding aviation careers, I think we need to focus on what Jessica Alba, was it Alba, explained to us about this very thing, or was it Beal? Jessica Beal, sorry. Because she has just as much knowledge in aviation about how.
Keep going, Wombat. You're on a roll.
Well, wait,
when
hold
you
on.
put AI
let him finish.
next to you, it doesn't always work the way you planned.
Wait,
So,
I just want to go back to how the dude knows.
We've already learned this episode, right?
Well,
so
there are students that are like in the B course that can't tell you what an even fight is. How does a 75-year-old with no experience tell you?
Well,
somebody told him.
Okay,
Sir,
dude,
it was an even fight.
Here's the thing. At 75 years old in F-16, you know, like anything past 3 Gs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anything past like a 60-degree angle of bank level turn, he's going to be like, whoa, easy boys.
You're asleep. No, he's asleep,
Yeah.
dude. He's taking a nap. How long was the sortie? It's probably the best nap he's had in a long time.
I don't care how good a shape you are, man. You put a 75-year-old man under 9 Gs,
dude.
He's probably going to take a nap. Because I'm probably going to take a nap.
Meanwhile, the retirement age for airline pilots stays at 65.
Well, because you never know when your
Gonky.
combat wingman is going to.
This is the one, dude. This is it.
I'm glad I could be here to the end.
46 is it.
I was really hoping for 50. I really wanted to be part of the 50th episode, but 46 is a good run.
Wombat comes back and it's over.
Yeah.
Good run.
Well, listen.
That was actually my plan. So I don't know if you guys realize this, but you keep asking me to come on, and I've learned that saying no doesn't work. So I'm just going to get you canceled so you don't ask anymore.
To end the show.
Hold on. It's make them tell you no. Of course, no doesn't work.
Yeah, dude. We ain't gonna quit.
Yeah.
Do you not watch the show?
We ain't gonna quit.
I don't. This show bores the hell out of me.
we
I
got.
have to watch it. It's horrible.
Okay. Well,
Kidding.
anyway,
I just look. I
sir-
scroll the comments to see if people are still asking about me, and then I move on.
sir, I apologize for any insults made heretofore. I mean, I know how it feels. I had somebody tell me of my advanced age last week, and it really it hurt me right here. It hurt me.
Can we actually make this serious for a second? Because this is the future, right? They're trying to go that way. The problem I have with this is not the Secretary of the Air Force. Like, good for him. He had a killer career. It sounds like did a bunch of really cool stuff, but he's not a pilot. Why, if you're going to make a big deal out of this and make it publicity, pick somebody that actually could speak intelligently? And that's not a hit on him. All of the stuff that he did in his career, I certainly can't speak intelligently on. Why wouldn't you pick somebody that's high ranking enough, that has the clout, but has also been there, done that, and can go, you know what, actually, that was pretty close. And I will tell you in my mind how I answer that question. And I answer that question because this is where the skepticism that you talked about before, Gonky, comes in. Is the reason they didn't put a fighter pilot in there is because that fighter pilot would be like, it was great. It was a fair. Is that the problem?
Yeah. Here's the answer to your question, in case you were. It's from the Greek, affair of the cities. It's the set of activities that are associated with the making of decisions in groups or other forms of power relations among individuals, such as the distribution of resources or status.
But that's the problem is, if you want this technology and you really want to go in this direction to be taken seriously, then act seriously. Like, don't, like I said, you probably would have gotten better fame if you put Jessica in there. Just saying.
Yeah,
She's
I think
got
she'd
just
take
as
more
much
Gs.
knowledge.
100%.
Honestly, you could have put Taylor Swift, and at least you'd have had people watching.
Exactly. I mean, people would be on board. So it's like you don't even
fix your recruiting problem. Get your robot overlords. Same day.
Exactly.
Man.
And we all get a catchy tune about some breakup. It's a win-win-win is what we call it.
Yeah. When you lose the fight, it becomes a breakup song.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh man, this
Shake it off.
Why are we
Shake it
not
off.
making money being
Why are we not making money?
consultants?
Because of this show.
Correct.
Have you not? You just said it was boring.
Way
That's
too many
why.
good ideas, man.
Yeah.
We do. I could fix everything if you just give me 5 minutes. That's my take, man. Like, I'm not taking away from this guy. Good for him. He served his country. Everything's fine. But listen, if you want your program to be taken seriously, he's not the person to put in the jet. I don't care if he's the Secretary of the Air Force or not. Like, he's not the person to put in the jet. Period. Put somebody who's at least flown airplanes in the jet.
Put Mover in the jet.
I'd fly in it.
I'll tell you
That's
if it's
right.
real.
That's
Look,
right.
Challenge to the nerds at Edwards. Put me in the jet, and I'll let you know if the AI is
New
really about to take
campaign.
over.
No, see, you're doing it wrong. You don't challenge nerds that way. Let me challenge them. Mover doesn't think that you can make a program that is more badass than he could sit through. Challenge accepted. Put him in the jet and make him G-lock in a real dogfight.
DCS is a video game.
Oh,
I mean, if we're getting canceled, you might as well say it for everything. So
No, I
Just
just
set the
was
place
trying.
on fire.
You know they probably play. Renee says, Mover met 4 Air Force pilots at my Clearwater hotel on Friday. They know you. You're famous.
infamous.
That's awesome.
And notorious.
That's great. This is why I can't have nice things.
Yeah.
The Terrible Tom 6969 giggity.
Thank you.
On a serious note for this one, oh boy, Gonky, Wombat, and I have absorbed some of the same neutrons and chewed the same lead paint. I found y'all when my math nerd valedictorian kid announced to us she would become a fighter pilot. Thank you for everything. So wait,
Good for her.
Wait a minute.
Who is this?
Wow.
What do you mean? Well, that's good. I mean,
Yeah.
you found us because of her. That's good.
That's pretty
Right?
cool, man. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. We have influence of people. Pelvic thrust. Pelvic thrust 499 says, Gonky, how does the adrenaline of dirt bikes compare to flying? Probably closest I'll get. Love you guys on my commute.
This must, yeah, dude. So speaking of being
look at
infamous.
him light up. He lights up like a little kid on Christmas.
Well, no, look,
Dirt bikes.
look,
They're
I don't get,
basically the
I'm
same.
not as famous as Mover or Wombat. 'Cause
Holy crap. You get
my books have no
No.
words, right? So
Yeah,
I
they're all
got-
bestsellers.
I was at the track this weekend and a guy came up. He's like, "Hey, man, you on YouTube?" So like, yeah. Anyways, so this is you. No, I think that's one of the reasons why I love riding dirt bikes. It's man and machine, and a lot of it is actually, the operator. So it's like in BFM, right? You're dog fighting, 2 Hornets, 2 Vipers, 2 whatever. They 2 totally different outcomes based on who is operating it. Dirt bikes are the same way. You can have identical bike and significantly different lap times. So I that's why I like it. It's the same adrenaline hit. And I don't know why Wombat's laughing, but I'm kind of nervous about it.
I love it when you get serious, dude. Like,
I'm answering the question.
oh man,
I'm
ride or
answering
die,
the-
bro. Ride or die all the way.
Yeah, live
Okay.
free to
It's
die,
funny
bro.
when you get serious. That's all.
Yeah, Wolf Jaeger for $5 says, I guess the AI pilot took off and later flew the airfield pattern just like the human pilot would. No, I think it just had a dude in the front and he had to ride through all that terrible BFM.
God.
That's
how
the
you
worst
see
job
it.
in the Air Force, the dude that's got to ride with AI.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably Wizzo.
Ron says, just had a mental picture of Mover being moved to the basement, just like Milton Office Space. That already happened, actually, in a little town called Eglin, Florida.
And you got
Yeah.
back. You're back.
Yeah,
That's
well,
your
he's
stapler.
still way over.
Wait till tomorrow. Wait till tomorrow. Phone calls will be a ringing. Dander's back, 75-year-old from Congress. They have any that young? That's a valid point. He would be a
100%.
spry freshman at the congressional level.
Well, he's not going to make it to Congress if he keeps doing these BFM flights. That's for sure.
Well, what happens when you do G's? I mean, like,
Yeah,
you need to do negative G's.
It's the opposite of a
Yeah,
facelift.
you book negative G's to push it all back.
Mm.
Thank you. Uri Meltzer says $1 is $1. T. Wolf Jaeger says they should have put General CQ Brown in the seat, former Viper pilot, current chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff,
Perfect.
that would have been a better option.
That would have been better.
or
Or
Doug
Mover.
Masters.
He's dead.
Doug Masters is not dead. Did you not watch the third one?
Well,
Or the
no. After the sound, like this is terrible.
He hates kids. He comes back and he hates kids, but then he takes kids and he leads them off to battle. It's a whole thing.
There's 3 of those.
No, there's 4.
I
think
stopped
there's
watching
4.
after the dirt bike and Cessna race
Iron
or whatever.
Eagle series.
It's
I
the
think
best.
there's 4
That's
or
when
5.
it peaked. Right?
So you got Iron Eagle 2, Iron Eagle Ace's Iron Eagle 3, and then Iron Eagle on the Attack in 1995 is when they finally said, you know what? That's enough Iron Eagles.
You know what bothers me most about that knowledge?
To have it now?
Yeah.
Is that none of your books are a movie and none of mine are either. But there's so many crap movies out there. People have no problem making.
Have you ever seen a little film called Called to Duty?
Yes.
Yeah.
It breaks my heart every time I see a show. Or
honestly,
a movie,
dude,
I'm like,
we
this
probably
is
could film
garbage.
that with the budget they had. We probably could film the.
Oh,
like,
sure.
You just need some DCS and.
Do you know any DCS guys?
Yeah,
Got a couple.
do.
I know how to tell stories.
Yuri says this reminds me of the QF-72 incident. Don't know why.
We were talking flight controls and uncontrolled.
Yeah. Is that where the A330 took a nosedive and
I don't know.
shoved everybody into the roof?
Tom Pasco says they told him it was even to keep getting funding. Sir, well, why wouldn't you just lie and say we kicked his ass? You know, it's like the whole Ghostbusters when somebody
because you can't go too far.
Yes.
You can't go too far because they would have gotten there. They
We beat
need
the
to just keep it
crap out
moving
of that
forward.
guy. Did we win? Like when he wakes up, did we win? Yeah,
Of course we won.
sir.
War's over. War's over, sir. It's time to go home.
Yeah. Good night.
Blake says it's a new Taylor Swift song. Knock it off. Knock it off. Knock
That's
it off.
funny.
Somebody
No,
should
okay.
AI that.
Now they will.
Slarty, what? Slarty Barfast B. Why is Wombat's name all caps while Mover and Gonky only capitalized?
Trade secrets.
Trade secrets.
Trade secrets. Sorry.
BJ.
Fans. Dude, so many. This cancellation is going to be so freaking great. Which one's BJ in there? Anybody?
Oh, God.
Which one?
To the next one. Thank you. And to the next
Thank
one. Need an 8-10 movie, not a DCS one. Top Gun mad. We're on to the next topic. Oh, boy.
I'd like BJ to donate more money and
Gonky.
make more comments to make Mover uncomfortable.
The large country of Turkey invites the also large country of Malaysia for the con.
Yeah.
God.
Did you share it? Or is that me that shared it?
What?
The article. I can't read it. It's too small. All right. I'll summarize here. Turkey invites Malaysia to partner in stealth fighter jet program. So,
This show is so terrible, dude.
They're so bad at
This is going to get the most views ever.
Why we never
Most views.
This is why Gonky's
why-
never got this job.
Dude, the first run is we never do a dry run beforehand. Yeah, Turkey invites Malaysia to partner
So to speak.
in their stealth fighter jet program. The whole idea behind this thing is technology sharing, right? So if you read the article, it talks about helicopter development, ships, naval ship development, and of course the con. Turkey obviously is looking for somebody to help invest in their 5th gen fighter. Having been there, what do I think about that? It's the streets time, so take it with a grain of salt. But I may be biased, but I'm a big fan of. I think the Super Hornet in Malaysia is by far their best bet, just based on the mission. That or the Gripen, like Movers talked about in the past, about it being a very durable, a tough jet, one that doesn't need as much maintenance. The Hornet and the Gripen, I see them as like low maintenance, but I don't know.
Is it
Mover,
stealth?
what do you think?
Is it
What?
stealth? The con. Is it stealth? Is it considered
TBD?
stealth?
Yeah, it's stealthy, right? It's their first crack at, and the con did its second flight this week, so that's the second time it's flown. Yeah, but I mean, dude, there's not much actually known about its capability. It is 5th gen-ish. It looks like it, so I don't know. We'll see.
I don't want to
I
compare
gotta
it
turn
to
off the
anything.
chat.
It's hard to compare it. I mean, you know, it's only as good as the articles that are out there, and it doesn't say much about it other than it's flown twice, and it's
They just need investors. Remember that experimental airplane, the Raptor, where all they were ever doing was taking pre-buys because they needed a bunch of people to invest so that they could build the kit.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, any large project, I mean, you're going to want investors to invest in it, right? And when you're talking fighter jets, it's going to be countries. And the whole, like I said it before, the whole time I was in Malaysia, the one, I think it's really good. They don't want to just buy an airplane. They want to try to better their own aviation industry. And I think that's why they were hesitant with Super Hornet, because Boeing didn't want, at least back then, that wasn't on the, that wasn't going to be part of the plan. The US will sell them a complete, ready to go, day one war capable airplane. But as far as technology sharing regarding this is how you build it and make it, maintain it, there wasn't as much of that going on. And I know the Malaysians are big on that, because they have a desire to improve their aviation industry. And good on them, right? They just want to be better. And if Turkey's like, hey, we'll technology, we'll do helicopter, ships, fighters, and we can build a lot of that stuff in your country, so you learn too. I mean, if I was a Malaysian, if I was a Malaysian, well, okay, even if it's not as good of an airplane, and I'm not saying it's not I'm not saying it's a bad airplane, but yeah. So I don't know. I mean, and it, we've talked a little bit about it in the past, but there's definitely a movement around the globe to detach from the Western stronghold of military weapons, right? So
can't imagine why.
Yeah, exactly. Can't imagine why. So hey, don't want sanctions, don't want to be strong-armed into making a decision. Well, then, if a country doesn't own our aircraft, we can't do that, right? So I can't blame them. There's something to be said about being self-sufficient, autonomous. I mean, that's what I hope for my country. But and I would expect any citizen of any country, any other country, or any military member to want that as well. So, will Turkey and Malaysia strike a deal? I don't know, but it'll be interesting to see.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good talk.
Thank
you for your service.
I was laughing not because of the topic, but because somebody, Nate Brand, said, Gonky, just read the pictures, and I thought that was hilarious.
Gonky, did we already do this one? Did it have words the first time?
Hold on, wait. Let me think. Yeah,
it did have words the first time, didn't it?
I don't know, dude. I never saw the words.
Check it again.
Aaron said, Wombat, I still say you should name the third book Bolter so you can write a fourth.
I don't even want to write the third. Anyway.
Avgeek Joe says, Khan would be a great adversary jet for Top Gun.
BO? Lost me.
I don't know. Okay. Blue. See, I told you, Wombat. Best show yet. BS sessions like this are the one real thing I miss about being in the Air Force. See, Wombat. Told you.
It can't be perfect.
James says, had a boss tell me one time that you are only as good as your worst employee. Applying that logic to U.S. fighter pilots, is the worst pilot still good, or have we met pilots who you honestly consider terrible? Of course I know him. He's me.
You're terrible?
Yeah, of course. Well, probably
I think we do a really good.
The four people Renee talked to was probably like, yeah, I know that guy is terrible. Worst fighter pilot on the history of all the fighter pilots.
Yeah. If he's ever,
I think the baseline skill is pretty high, but among those, there are still people you're like, dude, how did you get here?
Well, and also I think there's a lot that are, that are in the military that get weeded out. So you do meet pilots that are considered terrible, and a lot of times they don't make it. I think, on different levels, right? So,
yeah. No, there's,
there's the best of the best, and the rest.
And a lot of it is hard to fake it all the way through, so to speak.
All of that.
That worked out perfectly. That only got better the more you spoke.
Because right in the chain, I mean, like Wombat and
you say right in the face too. I mean, of all the things you could add to that,
yeah.
Are you? I've now triggered move now. In T-45 land, right? That's part of the weeding out the terrible, right? And it happens before that, right? It happens in back then, I don't know, I forget what they call it now, but API, right? So the entire flight school
Well,
process.
now everybody passes. I think it's different.
Well, so that's the only thing I was going to say. Like, I would say probably the worst pilots I've seen have been, like there's a reason why they're there, So I'll just leave it at that. But
yeah.
Moving on.
All right, moving on to the next one because of the words. Bill, holy crap. Thank you all for your service. You three are a riot, and I'm always here for it. Only thing that would make this show even better is to have shoes. I gotta email him again and see what his deal is. And or Star Baby on as a fourth member of the cast. Keep up the great work. Keep your heads above water in any and all ways.
We'll take my share of that in $1 bills. Just into
Where are you going? Where are you going with that, Wombat?
He wants to buy another people's wagon.
You tipped the van driver on the layover, Gonky. What were you thinking?
$2 or $1?
The van driver's got to pay for college.
God.
Tip him $5. Don't be cheap.
Equals con. Kirk Con. Punisher would like to know, when did Wombat turn Cherokee? I don't understand that, so I'm just going to continue on with my life. This is my turn. Damn it. I wasn't ready. Drone swarms.
This was scary.
Are we still talking about serious stuff? Cool.
Oh yeah, dude. And we churn and burn, dude.
We like to mix it up a little bit.
Mix it up, dude. We got to have new material to.
Oh, don't get me started.
Oh, wait.
You got it? I got it.
Only playing this for myself right now. Hold on.
Oh, okay. Yeah. This is your first time mover. Come on, man.
Why are you? You're such a bully, Gonky. Why
I'm not a bully. I'm dishing it back. Why can't you take thin skin mover over here?
God, why? Luna's over there making the bed.
Hey, is that Florida?
Hold on. I gotta remove the
Florida.
It's just mosquito time. That's all.
All right, can you translate for me? I don't understand.
No.
All right. Konnichiwa.
I'm not cultured.
Japanese,
it does say Florida at the bottom.
Oh. All right, get rid of the music.
Yeah, you don't want to get demonetized.
A lot of buzzing. I'm gonna make the noise. Wow. Look at that.
That's scary.
Is it scary?
Yeah. I think I've seen that in a sci-fi movie. Look at that, man.
Yeah.
Did you see how quickly it changed directions? Like a
Shocker. Tic-tac. There's no heat signature.
There was no heat signature and it changed directions.
Just amazing.
Randomly.
We're going to talk about another topic for drones here in a second, but we have been beating the drum about how dangerous drones are. And we've had reports of drone swarms in the United States. We have a drone thing here with Ronald Reagan here, the next topic. But this is a threat. It is a threat that we currently, I don't think we take it seriously enough. And it's a threat that because it's the name of the game is saturation. Gonky, how many times have we talked about with the Houthis, what happens when just one gets through? So let's say you put, a small charge on here and one gets through, because, you can only defend against so many targets, and area denial, it's a problem. You have to be able to deny them. And when these become autonomous and are using AI and they don't need to talk to anything and they can just go out and do this, what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, it's, it might be also that it's not that they don't care. It's just they're a little bit late to the game. The way we're taking care of drones now, right, with the Phalanx and the Sea Whiz and Hornets. I mean, dude, you can't, like, that swarm that you just saw. Like, how many Sea Whizzes would you need to, if they're all coming at you with a purpose, right? How do you defend against that? And then, like you said, they're basically insulated from any kind of jamming. I mean, you actually have to physically stop it. It's something that, it's one of those things, man. It's probably going to take one getting through, unfortunately, for the money to start flowing.
Well, And even
for
if you
something to
stop
happen.
it, it's still a 5-pound object falling from the sky, like 1,000 5-pound objects. If that thing just falls,
It's
it's
5,000 pounds.
It is, yes. That's
Thank you.
Yes, that's
public
right.
math there. Good job on
Did you
that.
see how quick it was? That was not. We didn't practice that either. I didn't know that math
first
equation
time.
before it started. It was just right out there.
But
Just
I
so you-
mean, I just, man, I don't think the money. I don't think they're throwing money at it probably like they should. We obviously in the U.S.
of
have
all the things, of all the things we throw money at, we're
Right.
not throwing money at this one enough.
Yeah, we're spending a ton of money on new bombers, carriers, fighters, all kinds of stuff that
Secretary of the Air Force VA disability after his BFM flight. I mean,
Correct.
Lots of things.
Years a civilian,
I don't
not
know.
service connected.
Yeah. Well, he's 100% disabled. He's a missile guy. But anyways, I digress. But yeah, I mean, and until unfortunately, I think something's going to have to happen before they're like, oh, we need to throw a bunch of money at this because that seems to be
Maybe.
what's
I mean,
required.
maybe maybe we just don't know that they're putting in.
Or that, yeah, 100%.
Maybe we don't. Maybe as a country, we don't want the enemy to know. Maybe.
True.
Maybe it's better to know our threat and to go, hey, we got it covered. Bring it. Maybe.
Yeah. Well, hey, the glass is half full sometimes. So,
The deep
Wombat
intel
must live on the Golden Retriever
Yeah.
Island. It was me.
Is there a golden retriever version of a wombat?
No,
It
I don't
poops
think
square
Doesn't poop
sparkles.
squares,
Square sparkles.
rainbows.
so.
Yeah. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No.
All right. James says, morning from rainy England, gents.
Morning.
Off the rails banter like this is what we love about the show. Yes, I really get to watch live. Our channel memberships in the pipeline so we can support regularly. Oh, we're talking about Patreon, right? If we're ever
I
going
thought you guys already had that. Did you stop?
I
that?
did, and then now we're on one. We're consolidated. We've consolidated since your last
Yes.
appearance.
We're trying to make the show better, but apparently some things still come off the.
Bill says, would also be really cool to see you guys get the fat electrician on your show. Just saying. What is a fat electrician? And what is that distinction? Because
Let's ask Google.
Google, what is a fat?
Do I want to see? Is this kid friendly?
Don't
What's
screen
my
share
speed?
that.
Look
Not
up
bad.
Hey, he's a YouTube guy.
two ladies with one.
No, he's a YouTube guy. Hold on. He can't be as popular as we are.
He's
Let's
more
see.
popular.
Oh, he's way more popular than we are. He's not going to talk to us. Like, no chance, dude.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. He's a former medic, journeyman electrician, and jiu-jitsu coach with like over millions. Yeah, no, he ain't got to talk to us.
No.
I mean, try, but sorry.
All right.
No.
I digress.
No.
Moving on.
Set realistic goals.
Whoop, no.
Oh, that's
My bad.
unfortunate. Oh boy. And it ends. And Gonky
My
had
bad.
no idea what just happened. Situational awareness there.
Gonky was off the rails. Gonky,
Yes, sir. Oh, yes. Play it. Play the video, sir. Speaking of drones, yeah. So that would be the USS Ronald Reagan. I got a couple traps on that bad boy.
Samesies.
in
Yeah.
that configuration.
No.
Well, after Gonky's trap, yes. But
After.
Is that why? Is that why it's in
Yeah.
to
the
replace the
shop?
whole center there. It's usually
Yeah.
further aft where you put the hole in the.
Is this the drone footage, or is this simulating what it would look like if we had the drone footage?
I believe this is the drone footage, man. Right? If things in port in Japan, and there's allegedly a Chinese drone flying over it, taking pictures. So, yeah, there it is.
Not confirmed.
Again, allegedly, this is a Chinese drone flying over the Ron Reagan, sitting there in port, getting some heavy maintenance done to it. So, I mean,
Why don't we have Marines with guns just to have? They would love that.
Because they were in Japan.
they're in Japan, dude.
Guns
Japan
aren't
knows
allowed in
what's
Japan.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, Mover, on to your point, the drone, if this is a Chinese drone taking pictures, I mean, it's
Only
not
takes
good.
one.
I mean, it's
Only
data,
takes-
even though it's not blowing up or anything, but data gathering is part of the the war game. So yeah, I don't know. Wombat did you do a cruise on the Reagan? No.
CQ.
CQ, yeah, that's what I did. Dexter.
I
I did Dexter.
I liked Ronald
first
Reagan.
3-wire.
So did I.
My first 3-wire. The ship was really cool inside.
Yeah.
Because maybe not everybody knows this, but typically every aircraft carrier that's named after somebody of importance has stuff in the aircraft carrier inside about that person. And the Reagan was pretty cool.
I agree. Three wires, right?
Oh yeah. She was my first 3-wire boat.
Yeah.
It was no different.
Yeah, I still tag the ace just as easy on that.
One wire is the one wire.
1, 4. I mean, the one is always the closest.
You might as well strip the 2, 3, and 4 because I ain't using them.
No, exactly. Sorry, Mover. I know. It's cool.
Blah blah blah.
Boats. That's all I'm hearing is boats. Y'all should each have a bourbon and a cigar.
That would be
for $2. That might cover everybody in here that would drink a bourbon and a cigar.
Is that how much they cost?
No,
with inflation, I feel like that's low.
Very low.
That wasn't the joke. But
anyway. I won't even get you a bottle of water at the training center.
No.
You have to buy your bottles of water at the training center. That's awesome.
The training hotel, it's $2.85.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
you go to the vending machine in the training center, it's like $2.50 for a 12-ounce Dr. Pepper. And you're like,
pick up another trip, dude. Pick up another trip. No problem.
Just money. You're not driving a Volkswagen.
Marine in Australia wanted by the U.S. We've talked about this previously on the channel, but then 60 Minutes Australia did a feature. So for our Australian guests, our viewers, we're going to talk about this because America likes this too. So are you guys ready?
Hit it.
This part's cut. We're going to have to.
Yeah.
Check out that airplane, man.
Yeah.
I'm a former U.S. Marine Harrier jump jet.
Look at that dude. He looks like he talks at the.
When it comes to combat, Daniel Duggan can battle with the best.
I trained
not in that thing.
in air combat.
If you don't have a G suit, you're not doing a whole lot.
Aircraft carriers around the globe.
Mover will never go to a Blue Angel show after that comment.
I was already uninvited.
One man against the U.S. It's disgraceful.
Hold on now.
To his wife.
So what he did was he went to Australia and got him a Margot Robbie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, I just triggered that. I just triggered the one dude that doesn't like me talking about men. Sorry. Apologies, but that's what he did. I mean,
yeah. Okay.
That's what this is.
Wife, Safrine Duggan, and their 6 kids.
6 kids. Get off her, man. Jeez. That's a lot of people.
5, by the way. Just throwing that out there.
Man, Wombat knocking it out of the park with math today, dude.
Daniel is a hero.
That's the never mind.
Hero. I was blown away. He was my top gun. But in the
things my wife will never say about me.
Not
ever.
If you had an Australian.
This top gun is a traitor.
What?
He's accused of doing what no U.S. military personnel should ever do. Give away secret intelligence to China.
The military is privy to secrets, and they cannot trade those secrets away with foreign countries, with foreign competitors, with foreign adversaries.
Unless you're in political office.
Homeland Security expert Dr. Charles E. Dell says the allegations against Daniel Duggan couldn't be more serious.
Here we go.
The charges are mired in legal jargon. But the US claims when the former Marine Major was employed at a flying school in South Africa in 2012, he taught Chinese military pilots secret combat techniques, including how to take off and land on aircraft carriers.
The United States and its allies.
He taught him FCLPs.
How did he know? He was a Harrier guy.
Exactly. Thank you, Wombat.
Have
Thank you.
advantage because of their combat experience. You do not want your adversary to understand that. The last thing in the world that we want to do is make the Chinese military more capable, more adept at being able to fight.
Do
Which
you
is why we
think
sent a Marine
the US is
Harrier guy
making an
to do
example
this.
out of your husband?
Yes. My
Sorry.
husband is being used as a pawn in this geopolitical mess that's happening right now.
Safrine Duggan says the allegations are ridiculous. She finds it impossible to understand why it's taken more than a decade to come about. And she's furious her
explain red
husband
tape.
has to be locked up in maximum security while he waits to find out if he'll be extradited to the United States. Another prospect she can't bear to contemplate.
He's put on a plane and taken to the US. He's taken away immediately. He's gone. It's a 65-year sentence. It's a death sentence for my husband, who is in his 50s. If you add that on, that's 120 years.
He's good at math too.
15.
Wombat already had that.
15.
Yep.
It's 115.
All right, so we've
We've
talked
about this guy before.
We've talked
right?
about this before, and
Okay.
so the first part is anytime it's a bad idea to sell secrets to the Chinese, and it's a very serious matter. However, I'm not sure if I'm in Team Gonky, where I'm like, 60 Minutes is a clown show, and they got all of this wrong, and they really thought that teaching the Chinese carrier stuff was the secrets, or if that's how silly this entire thing is.
It's hard to tell. Honestly, I could see both sides of this. I could see this being a huge, huge international incident where he gave away legit secrets.
Yes.
Or I could see him having taught a landing pattern and somebody being out to get him, and he became a scapegoat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, South Africa, not really the land of a whole lot of aircraft carriers that you can.
Practice on.
Yeah. I mean,
And let's be honest, you could do more in DCS than you can from a Marine Harrier guy teaching you how to land on a ship.
Don't do that, dude. You're going to get me in jail.
No. I'm saying, like, there's video games out there that are more accurate. What?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, no offense to Harrier guys, but
No, they understand. It's
Well, it sounds like it was incidental to the thing. You know, when we first came out, it was he went to China and taught them stuff. Now it's, well, he went to this third school in South Africa and he happened to have a Chinese student, which is
very different.
Way different, because you can go to some US schools and have Chinese students. You can go to a lot of schools and have Chinese students. That's a lot different than going to China and being embedded with the People's Liberation Air Force and getting in a, J-10 and, a Marine Harrier guy trying to teach air to air.
Yeah.
Plot twist. Maybe he was a mole embedded to teach it poorly to China. China got upset at the people they control in our government. And then we had to make a scapegoat of this guy.
Book idea.
You wanted to refund? Yeah, dude, there's your next book. That's Chinese Flight.
Dude, here's the thing, right? I mean, we haven't heard his side.
Yeah.
Right. I
And
mean,
we
it's
probably never will.
And I don't know, again, tin hat, whatever, looking at both sides of the story. It's like, you gotta, like, I always ask myself now, who do I trust more? Do I trust the government or do I trust my fellow American?
Oh,
do you really have to ask that question?
Well,
he's in Australia, though.
But he is a former, I mean, he's wearing naval aviator wings. I mean,
he's an expat.
But I mean, but still, like, I just, that thought goes through my mind. It's like, who, I mean, let's be honest. Has the FBI had, has there been any scrutiny on the honesty of the FBI lately? I don't know. Maybe not. How about other three-letter agencies, right? Yeah. This is all a joke, by the way.
Yeah.
I guess I just question.
Yeah.
I just question, like I haven't heard a word from him, from his side.
Here's my question. And react with no words, just your facial expressions.
Oh boy.
Do you, in your time in the military and working for the government, think that it's completely implausible that this is a complete scapegoat and he did nothing wrong? Mover, you can't hold it back.
You mean inconceivably damage his career? Never.
Okay.
I cannot imagine a
Okay.
scenario where 1 or 2 or 3 individuals gets mad about something irrelevant to the law and or regulations and then goes on a witch hunt. I cannot imagine that scenario.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
and
how about this? How about this, though? Okay, let's play this game again. Reactions only. Do you think it is conceivable or plausible? Come on, this is serious because this is isn't it conceivable or plausible to have somebody that raised their hand, oath of office, went through all of Marine Corps training, all of flight training to just throw all that away to give secrets to the Chinese?
Yes, you wrote a book about it.
But which one?
I read it.
It wasn't that good of a book. But which one did you see happen more day to day in your time in the military? Option A or option B?
Well, hold on now.
Stop with your logic, damn it.
He's not exactly living in the land of freedom either.
No, but
mean-
dude, like I said, I
That's
haven't
a choice,
heard.
man. Margot Robbie. I don't blame you for that choice, right? And
You
obviously,
can't say that. There are people in the comments that will be angry about objectifying women by saying that a woman is attractive. Don't do that.
Well, then don't watch this show. If you're that
Yeah,
kind of
don't-
person, don't watch this show. I disinvite you.
I just invite you. You're dead to me.
So
Leave.
my point is like it's absolutely possible that there is some political behind this, 100%. Or there is a point that he could be a giant sleazebag, but we don't know.
Janitor's back brings up a great point on topic. Wasn't Gonky a mercenary for the superpower known as Malaysia, large country?
I did fly for their Air Force as a civilian, so yes, I guess that would count me as a hired gun.
It's not. This is not.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They make it sound like this guy ran when it first came out.
Yeah, like he was
They
out
made
there
it sound
teaching the
like he-
Chinese in their
yes.
jets in China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But instead, if we find out that truly all he did was teach them in South Africa how to land on an aircraft carrier as a Marine Harrier guy, I think he should be probably let go.
Well,
not
here's
only
the other
that,
thing,
but
Wombat.
12 years later.
No, here's the other thing, Wombat. Is CV NATOPS classified?
No.
Yeah, I mean, the Chinese.
I mean,
don't-
hell, most of the fleet aviators don't even know it. So
I
it's-
know.
If you're just landing and there's no boat, isn't it just bad landing? I mean, he's just teaching the Chinese how to tear up their airplanes.
Yeah.
Well, if he's
So,
teaching them carrier ops,
maybe.
dude, he's a Harrier guy.
Yeah.
I
How many
the Chinese
Harriers
don't
do
have
the
any
Chinese
jet-
have? Do they
Well,
have?
they don't have
Eastall?
any that have hovering airplanes.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's some weirdness to this story.
There is
that,
more to this story.
Yeah.
And you know what? Here's the thing. I hope it gets figured out. And if he didn't do anything wrong, or if he did something wrong, but in reality it was BS, like let the guy go, man. Let him move on. If he's a dirtbag, hang him by his toenails. It's that simple.
exactly 100%.
It's very simple. But don't make him the scapegoat because of some other geopolitical BS that politicians have started and can't get themselves out of.
Yep.
Which is what I fear.
All right. Moving on before we get canceled by the actual government.
Dude, we're probably already there.
Freedom
if
is
you're
not
gonna
free.
go,
Andre
Great.
Prado says, "Good evening, Aces. Greetings from Brazil."
Greetings
Yeah.
from.
Blake.is says 199. Anyone fly during the Aurora?
everybody on Facebook. You just have to go on there. Everybody was a
No.
pilot that day, and everybody took pictures of it.
I saw a video. Guy in a car wash. He's video. He's like, "Look, the Aurora." Yeah, whatever. You know, the ones with all the lights.
Yeah.
The Terrible Tom says, ex-enlisted CVN sailor here. Reactors produce neutrons and Navy love lead paint. Hence the earlier comment. Kid told me she wanted to fly, so I did research. Found you. There goes the rest of my Friday bar budget. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Tom.
Nice.
That's awesome.
We have
You
to
should be
clean up
happy
our act.
because you're That's a badass kid, frankly.
Yeah, we have to clean up our active kids are listening and watching.
Yeah, we do.
No, he said he
Mohammed-
was enlisted, not a kid.
No, his daughter. He's the one with
It's
the
a
daughter.
joke. It's a-
Mohammed says should have gone to either Dallas, Delta Airlines,
I think you'll figure it
Delta
out. if you keep
Airlines,
reading.
Delta Airlines. After the USMC, where now he would be an A350 captain making $300,000 as base pay instead of some dodgy flight school in South Africa. To each his own. Maybe he didn't pass all the tests that Delta used to want.
Yeah, it's
No,
12 years ago.
his,
That's tough.
he met his wife in Australia, had 6 kids.
Maybe she was an Australian flight attendant.
Oh, jeez.
God, if only there was a story about that you could buy for $7.99 in the e version, or a signed version if you really like it. It's right there, except it's blurred out by your lights, so nobody could read it, which is fantastic.
Sydney flight, yeah.
No, I think he's actually, yeah, that's funny.
I'm trying to point out Treason Flight, now available in electronic book format and Audible, wherever toys are sold. Pneumatic Element. Oh,
That is
Not yet.
turned into a huge scheduling nightmare that we're still working.
Joe says, hi, guys. And by the way, welcome back, Wombat. Welcome back. All right. Hey, speaking of Wombat and soapboxes and all the things,
man. Yes.
he's waited. We're already at the 2-hour mark, so good luck. Get your lunch.
Get a drink, kids.
Sit back.
some
It's
caffeine.
bedtime. Put the kids to bed. Look, I want to go ahead and take off the Lunacam. And go. Should I put up the picture?
Yeah, you have to. It doesn't work without the picture.
Which picture do you want? Do you want this one, or do you want this one?
That one.
This is the one. Okay, go ahead, Wombat.
No,
Send
you
it.
start it. Or Gonky could start it, or I mean,
Well, this is Navy. I don't even know what PERS 43 is.
Okay.
So you guys.
So this happened, I guess today, which I didn't realize.
That
but
just happened.
The backstory is that PERS 43 is aviation officer assignments. So it's who Gonky and I had to deal with. It's our detailers. If you ever hear us talk about detailers, it's the people that would cut us orders to go to the next wherever we're going. So when Gonky finished his fleet tour as a Hornet guy, he got orders to go to be a RAG instructor. He worked with PERS. That's all it is. PERS 43 is that group of individuals. Millington, Tennessee. So they put up a post, and I did not see the original post, although I've seen many comments from it. And it was basically soliciting feedback for things that they could do better. And one of, I guess, the comments got out of hand vividly, very quickly, which tells me everything I need to know about the current state of affairs in naval aviation as far as detailing goes. That's for sure. I have learned since then that such comments included somebody made a suggestion about how about letting aviators do for their career what they were trained to do, which is fly planes, to which PERS 43 replied, what about the oath you took prior to getting your wings? Which now I have been out of the Navy for 2 years, and I took offense to that because that insinuates that I'm not honoring my oath of office when I fly airplanes. When I commented on that, it went out of hand even further to where I learned that PERS 43 actual at some point called aviators who are getting out at the end of their initial commitment terrorists for not staying in. Now, Gonky, you got out after your initial commitment.
Sure did.
And from what I remember, this was many moons ago, you were also faced with some non-positive replies to your decision to get out off active duty. And I think that's been very common over the years.
Very.
And I think this is freaking ridiculous, to be honest with me. I think now, Mover, go to the other picture, because what they did, just before we go to that, what they did is they took the post down.
Yeah.
Okay. But this is their mission statement. Now, lots of words, take care of Navy officer. Okay. because this is PERS 4, so it's all of the detailers. We must assign everybody in accordance with directives, fine, while we strive to satisfy the professional and personal goals of the individual. Interesting. So what it seems to me, and maybe I am just completely out in left field here, is that maybe PERS or whoever got a hold of their Facebook page forgot what their damn mission is. Because my guess is they're sitting in an office in Millington on their high horse complaining about this. And I am not going to sit here and say their job's easy. I mean, think about the Hornet community, fighter community. Rough estimate. Guys and girls coming out of a fleet tour, right? They're going to top choices if they want to be career-minded, Top Gun, Blue Angels, or the RAG. Fair?
Yep.
Would you say that equates to, at best, 25% of the slots available to fighter pilots?
Yeah.
Okay. Which means PERS 43's job in the VFA world means 75% plus or minus of the people that they work with, their customers, are not going to get their first choice. Likely. Now, I'd say the E2 community might be a little different because a lot of E2 pilots, after have flown the E2 for a tour, want to go back and fly T-45. So you get a lot that don't want to go to the RAG. But the point being is these individuals have to work with people that aren't necessarily going to get what they want. That is not an easy job. But I'm going to give some breaking news to PERS 43 or whoever's in charge of their Facebook. One way to make your hard job harder is to piss off the people that you're working for. Because that's what it is. All they did by creating this post is show how disconnected they are with the fleet, how disconnected they are with the individuals that they are working for. And it's not the other way around, even though they may see that, and how truly disconnected they are with the mission of the Navy and their own mission statement. It's absolutely absurd to me that they would do things like call aviators who did their commitment. Wait, what is that definition? Maybe PERS 43 can look it up on Google. Commitment terrorists. It is absurd to me that they put a post up and then slandered people who gave their honest opinion. I don't think it is an absurd opinion for a pilot who joined to be a pilot to say, hey, let me be a pilot. That makes complete and logical sense. But the worst part about this whole thing is then, because they're cowards, they took it down, which goes against their own DOD and government policy, that they're not allowed to do that for record keeping. So where's the integrity? Because I know lots of people in the military that got questioned about their integrity in certain decisions. So I'm questioning, where's PERS integrity here? You know what?
Yeah.
Maybe they should go to a board of inquiry and talk about their integrity. They have lost complete and absolute touch with the people they work for. They've gotten the roles reversed. And if you want to talk about a pilot retention problem, gee, maybe this has something to do with it. Who in their right mind would want to stay in and sign up with these idiots that are in charge of the fate of their lives, their families, where they're going, what they're doing? You have people that do stuff like that. In my opinion, the only answer, in my opinion, is people get removed from PERS 43 who are responsible for this. This needs to come to light, period. This is absolutely insane.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about completely losing trust with your customer. I mean, by doing this, it's admitting guilt. And I mean, it's proof that they don't care about you. Right.
They just confirmed everything we assumed.
Yeah, exactly. And like, it's funny. There's a British fighter pilot, Tim Davies. He's got a good channel, also Fast Jets Performance. I was watching him the other day, and he brings up a good point with retention, dude. You're talking about, okay, these clowns in Millington, the detail, right? Fighter pilots in the Air Force and the Navy, especially in the Navy, are like, I get it, we're all equal in this kumbaya world, but no, actually, fighter pilots cost the Navy a ton of money to train. You're talking about an asset that probably took $7 million, $8 million to train. And
pre-inflation, we got new numbers.
Right. Right,
Okay.
exactly. You're not talking about, some senior lieutenant shoe clerk who didn't, it didn't cost millions and millions of dollars to train them. I'm not saying as a person they're any better or worse. I'm just
No,
talking.
it's a different profession. It takes
I'm talking.
less. Correct.
I'm talking from an asset standpoint, and it took years to train that person to get to a certain skill level. And you're going to let these clowns in Millington just crap on them and them families and drive them to leave. It's not. I mean, it's a recruiting problem. It's a budget problem. I mean, you want to save millions and millions of dollars. Don't hate on the most expensive assets that you have.
And the most eager. I mean,
Yeah.
this is people. When you look at
Yeah.
who's involved, who is making these comments, they are a generation of individuals that still have hope.
Yeah.
These aren't the old crusty commanders that are like, I just want to retire.
Yeah.
These are the lieutenants who are like, hey, guess what? My people, PERS,
Yeah.
who I'm supposed to work with, they ask for my opinion. And lo and behold, they're a generation where when they get asked their opinion, they actually give it, God forbid. So they
Yeah.
give their opinion, and PERS doesn't like it because, that's difficult. I don't like. What do you mean you have to hold me accountable? I'm not the one that has to be held accountable as PERS. That's your job. And this is a problem for everybody because I love the freedoms that I enjoy every day. And if we lose a fighting force because of these douchebag idiots who think that they're elitist and entitled and can sit in an office in Tennessee, then that's an issue for everyone. Because I'll tell you, when the enemy comes a knocking on your Tennessee door, your ass is going to get killed just as quick.
Yeah.
So think about it from that. Get out of your entitlement. They've lived in these worlds. And here's the other part. Almost everybody that I knew that worked in PERS, good or bad, went on, if they were a detailer and then placement, went on to some sort of command tour, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Soon to be skipper.
Yeah.
Why do you want to run a squadron full of a bunch of people that you treated this way before you even became a skipper?
Dude,
Are you kidding me?
A lot of them are brainwashed. It's in the Air Force too, man. It's not just a Navy problem. This whole manning.
This is ridiculous, dude. This is so ridiculous. The senior leadership of our military, and I know we're talking about the Navy right now, but the senior leadership of our military needs to pull their head out of their ass when they're talking about retention problems. Here's your freaking retention problem. The people that I'm supposed to go to that are supposed to have my career, my family's livelihood, because, oh, by the way, as Mover said, I signed the check, right? So I might not come home from this flight, but that's okay because my family's willing for that sacrifice for the freedoms we have, because there's people in these positions on their shore tour that will take care of me and my family. And this is how they act. Screw that, man. This is ridiculous, unexcusable. And for the things I've watched my friends get into trouble for that were complete BS in their careers, somebody's head needs to roll on this one. And in my opinion, I don't even know who the hell it is. PERS 43 Actual is ultimately responsible for this. And if the CNO doesn't jump down that person's throat and figure this out, then the whole system's screwed, in my opinion.
DOD wide, man.
Unbelievable.
Wide.
Am I so out of touch? No. It's the children who are wrong. Am I so out of...
Thank you, Mover. That's actually for our Marine viewers.
That summed up everything.
Addition to
what? I apologize and feel bad for everybody who is active duty right now in naval aviation that they have to deal with this, because that's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
absolutely ridiculous. Today. It's not a matter of being surprised. I feel bad for them. Could you? I mean, dude, we saw it good. We saw it bad. There were good detailers. There were good dudes and dudettes up there that tried to do their best. And there were, I have never seen something this bad. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I hope that this causes those people to not get command. I hope it screws their career because that's what they deserve.
Straight to the top on that. Straight to the top.
Exactly. Unbelievable. Bullshit.
Valid.
I don't need a disclaimer because I'm retired. PERS, you want to talk to me? I'll teach you all the other things you're doing wrong. Give me a call.
I mean, just from a practical perspective, it's social media 101. If you're running an official government Facebook or social media account, you're not Wendy's.
No.
Shut up. Make your post and shut up. Don't reply to comments. Don't look at the comments. Make your post. It's transmit only. If you don't care what people are going to say, just make the post and go about whatever your little shoe clerk day has in store for you. Don't argue with people. Don't get screenshot fodder. Don't do
Oh, there's
like
so much of it too.
This is a lesson in what not to do. This is
Exactly.
like how do you best make yourself a meme? How do I drive people further towards the door? If that was the goal, good on you.
Congratulations.
On another note, the airlines would like to thank you for fixing our pilot shortage problem because you're helping every day.
We talked about this. Wombat, you weren't here for that mental health minute. It would have been good to have your input on this, but know your worth. And in a world where more and more people are finding out their worth, if I can go make, let's say $1,500 in a day to do a one leg, go sit 30 hours, one leg back versus putting up with this for $300 in a day, which one do you think I'm going to choose? Now, me, if I'm doing something cool, I'll probably choose the $300 one.
Sure.
But if the $300 one is not letting me fly and then calling me a terrorist,
bye-bye.
Like, it's not rocket science. I have talked about this since the dawn of every channel I've ever had. If you want to lead people, you have to take care of people. If you want to inspire people, you have to give them a mission. You have to give them a purpose. And your job as leadership is to give them the tools to accomplish that mission and then get out of the way. If you cannot do that, you are not fit for command.
Well, leadership is failing across the board on that.
Yeah.
It's pretty, everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. Yeah.
We need to flush some of these turds that have floated in the leadership of the military, in my opinion. This is ridiculous. Like, if they think this is legit, if they think this is actually how you lead, they are so disconnected from the reality of what it takes to lead men and women into battle. Because people are questioning your integrity now as a detailer. Is that the person I want on my wing if I'm going into combat? That's questioning things?
Yeah, those words coming out of a detailer are pretty bad.
Well, and supposedly Pers Actual commented as well and identified himself as Pers Actual and was just as bad.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I don't know, man. That's why I got out all those years ago. Because I could see one of the reasons why I got out of active duty. I told the skipper, lack of leadership at the highest level. I don't trust where we're going is not where I want to be, basically. And
look where we're at.
He was super supportive of that. You know,
sure.
Like, I don't blame you one bit, man. He's like, I shake my
but
head
look at
every
it
day.
now. Look
I
where
know,
we've gone.
dude.
I mean,
I know. I've made the right choice.
In my opinion,
I made the right choice.
CNO has one move here. One.
Yeah. It's not, dude. It's
or else he's lost naval aviation for a long time.
It's DOD wide, man. It's not just
I know, but we're talking about this particular one. Yeah. And to me, the CNO has one move regarding PERS, or else he's going to lose naval aviation. The JOs are going to go nuts. Like, I mean, dude, they've done it. They've done it. I remember when I was going through some medical stuff and I wasn't sure I was going to get to fly again. And I called my dad and he's like, well, what is it that you haven't done yet? And I go, what do you mean? And he's like, dropping bombs, shooting a gun, tanking, laying on the shit. He's like, what have you done? I was like, well, I've done it. I've done it. And he goes, okay, so you've done it. The most dangerous person in the world is somebody that's been there and done that. All these JOs that are dealing with PERS, they've all done it, right? They've achieved their goal of being naval aviators. They've done it. So go ahead and give them an option to go look around because you're such a piss poor leader that they go, well, wait a second, I've done it. I don't want to do it anymore. What are my options? Well, that mover guy talks about what A350 pay is. Huh. That's an option. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're giving them a focus that they didn't need to have because they were so ambitious, which is what got them there in the first place. Like, nobody in naval aviation with wings of gold or silver in the Air Force or any of that are losers that have no ambition. Like, they had a goal above the average person and they went after something. You have these type A amazing individuals and you're giving them an option. You're giving them a reason.
They don't care.
to get out. That's unbelievable to me. I'm essentially.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
Innocent.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
It is. This stuff's going to spread. We talked about at the beginning with the jump seater, right?
Yeah.
Didn't we say that? How quickly would social media things spread?
You heard
guess
it here
what?
first.
You're going to, I'm telling you,
We're the
you're going
spreaders.
to see.
It's us. We're the problem now.
I have no problem taking credit for bringing this to light. This is BS.
Yeah, dude, 100%, man.
Unbelievable.
Well, so it is now 2 hours and 15 minutes into the show. Gonky, Wombat, here's the question for you at this point. I feel like we've already covered the mental health minute in both the first and last segments. Do you want to go to your LSO thing real quick? Or
no, we'll save it for next time.
You want to wrap this up, or do you want to do the mental health minute? I leave it over to you.
I think it's important to talk about. I mean, people
We'll
like
do the
it.
mental health minute, man.
Okay. Real quick, Code Monkey has nominated Wombat for the Secretary of Defense. Check
pass.
us in the mail.
Hard pass. Thank you.
And Dora Meme says, have you seen the Istanbul FedEx 767? Wasn't it a 75?
No, 76. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yes. No.
Yeah. Good job.
Okay.
They did a good
Yeah,
job.
good job. And then Short Timer says, check out Pornelli's Law. I don't know that one.
Is that like Bernoulli's law too? I don't know.
I think all laws. All right. So mental health minute. I don't know really how to shape this in the. Do we even have that on here? Where'd it go?
Yeah, it should be at the bottom, right?
There it is. Mental health minute. Mob mentality.
Oh boy.
At this, so I thought about this when we were talking about the jump seat stuff, but also what Wombat's talking about and in general, because I think there's two sides of this. There's what happens when you're part of the mob and what happens when you are the victim or the focus of the mob. And as it relates to mental health, I think in general, humans can be kind of pack animals. So we feel connected when we're angry at a singular cause. Like we like to, oh yeah, that's right. I want to be part of this. But I think in situations like that, what does it do for your mental health? I think anytime we try to take somebody else down, at the end result is going to be negative, because when you realize you may have been wrong, when you're on the wrong side of history, I mean, look at the historical examples we have where civilizations or cultures or whatever justified very bad things in the name of the mob mentality. So sometimes it's not right to be going with the crowd or the herd. And especially when we talked about the jump seat thing, I think we have to take a step back and go, what do I gain by jumping into this? And what do I gain? What does society gain with the end result? So are we bettering humanity by doing whatever the mob is trying to do? Or is it time to do like Gonky talks about, take a step back, see if we know all the facts, see if we know what's going on, and is our response proportionate and rational? Because a lot of times it just starts to snowball and escalate where a minor slight becomes life and death. Because the worst part of mob mentality is when everybody gangs up on one person, that one person is now at risk. They're being bullied and they're at risk of losing their livelihood, losing their friends, losing their circle, because people will distance themselves because they don't want to go through that too, unless they've got really good friends like you two, of course. But they're at risk of losing a lot, up to and including their life. And that is a thing where we already have a culture where mental health is very important. And we have people taking their lives because they've been bullied, because people have ganged up on them, versus what I think the professional and mature thing to do in this situation is to reach out, educate, and see if we can fix the behavior to make it better later on, versus, oh, it's one mistake, we all hate you. And because sometimes that hatred is rooted in other things that have nothing to do with the original incident. It may be, something about that person, something about their background. I hate you because you used to fly for this airline. I hate you for, sometimes, in the case of things that have happened within humanity, it's things that were outside of their control, race, gender, creed, all that stuff. We tend to get with the mob and do some very heinous things against people that they have no control over. So that's that first part. The second part is, well, what happens if you're the victim of this? And that's a terrible place to be, because being the target of a group of people, I mean, it sucks. It sucks when when you feel like the world is out to get you. But in that case, you have to go to your circle. You have to go to your close group of friends, the people that you trust. You have to insulate yourself. You have to turn off you have to turn off the noise. You have to turn off all the negativity and just focus on one foot in front of the other, day to day, and getting through it. Because the thing is, with mob mentality, it's only a matter of time before it's somebody else and the mob moves on to something else. So in that sense, it becomes a test of endurance. It becomes a test of time, because I guarantee you, like talking about the jump seater or talking about this, the news cycle will refresh in 24 to 48 hours. People will forget about it and they'll move on to the next thing that they're outraged about. The damage will remain for you. And that's where you need to have a close circle of friends. You have to have people you can talk to, and you have to reach out. You have to be able to reach out and say, look, I need help. I'm sorry, I can't do this alone, and not try to fight the mob by yourself, because what's the worst thing you can try to do? Fight City Hall by yourself. So use the assets available, talk to somebody. Like I talked about, military one source, counselors. If you're in the airlines, there's like Project Wingman. There's always, most airlines have mental health resources that you can go to, unions, and especially that you can go to and get help from other pilots. But don't try to fight it alone, because that's when isolation is probably the worst thing that can happen to us. Wombat, over to you, man. Or Gonky.
I agree. I mean, and this comes in so many varying levels, in my opinion. I mean, so mob mentality isn't just what we've talked about today. It's also just it's a form of groupthink. It's a form of being, part of something. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. When I was talking to my wife about this, I go, this reminds me of kind of in the military, we call it the blue couch theory. Everybody sits around the ready room, starts talking, and whatever the topic is, everybody's on board. And, we would see this in flight school, right? Instructors, oh man, I just flew with this guy. It's horrible. Oh, blah, 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 blah. He's horrible. He's horrible. He's horrible. And then now, oh yeah, I flew with him. Oh yeah. Well, I saw how he parked his truck this morning. Oh, and they all pile in on it. It's like, well, hold on a second. Like, why was he horrible? Well, he was horrible because he did this. Like, oh, he made that mistake as a student. Yeah. Wait, whose job is it to teach the student? Oh, that's your job. But all you did was talk crap about him and come here to all the other people that are going to fly with him and ruin his reputation. Nice job, right? So you see that, but it goes the other way too, right? Like when you were getting out, Gonky, right? Like blue couch, right? You went against the grain. I guarantee you people were like, oh, Gonky. I mean, nobody would say it to your face, right? But it's like, he's crazy. He's getting out. We're in combat. Why wouldn't he go back, right? It's that groupthink mentality. It's extremely dangerous. There's things to be passionate about in life, as you can tell when I come on here. I get it, right? Taking care of your people, being a leader, being a good person to the people around you. That's all important, in my opinion. The money, the other stuff, look, it comes and goes. There's good times, there's bad times. But being a good human being is, in my opinion, the reason why we're here. Luckily, I have the advantage that I can pass that on, hopefully, to my kids and maybe create 2 more good human beings, maybe. But that's the whole point, right? It's okay to be passionate about something. It's not okay to jump on somebody else's passion when you don't even understand their passion, right? Why are we so angry at this United jump seater? Well, maybe it stems from something completely different. Maybe you didn't get hired at United. Maybe you got turned down and you had to go Southwest. So now you're going to go on your little keyboard warrior days and you're going to talk about this and you're going to spread this rumor out, which doesn't take long with forums. And now it's changed somebody's life. Maybe, it's all these things. We don't think about the ramifications of what we do. We hop on, we type our little thing, we beat our chest, we feel better, and we move on with our miserable lives. And that is the biggest threat, because now you have this situation where you have affected a life you've never even met in a negative way. Now, I have found social media to be very rewarding in the fact that I have affected lives in positive ways, of people I've never met, people that I would never come in contact with. That's probably one of the most awe-inspiring and positive things that has come out of all of this social media stuff. But I have the time to sit there and I think about this. The people that get into this mob mentality, they don't. It's a click on a keyboard, done, and they move on. And they don't think about it. And I don't think they realize how dangerous that is. And if they do, they are horrible individuals, in my opinion.
Well, you guys covered it pretty good, as usual. What I'll say, so for me, fighting the mandate, you want to talk about mob mentality. And, you know, from a mental health point of view, I'm a pretty, I feel like I'm a pretty tough guy, right? As far as being able to handle things. Not many things get to me. My wife's constantly telling me, like, I wish you had more compassion, whatever that is. Anyways, but, you know, the problem, like when I was fighting the mandate was like people that I actually trusted and respected were turning against me. People that I trusted and respected who I knew were smarter than me at, let's say, medical things or biblical things, were against me. And that made it very tough mentally because you start to question yourself, right? So who do you go to? Of course, like Mover says, you know, reach out to somebody. So, you know, eventually those of us who were fighting the mandate found one another and supported one another. But, you know, early on when things were pretty vicious, I mean, there was leadership in the military, like we should drag all these people out here and just shoot them all because, you know, they're horrible people. And, you know, just a week before I was, you know, one of the bros. So, you know, mentally it was hard for me to wrap my head around how did I go from being an American fighter pilot to my boss literally telling me, we're going to take your retirement and kick you out and you'll have nothing. And then on my civilian job, I was getting the same thing, you know, but, you know, I'm not a pastor or nothing, but I have, you know, I'm a Christian and I felt a strong push from God. Like, dude, it's wrong. The oath that you took for your country to defend freedom, this is not how it works. This is where you'll stand. And so I was like, okay, this is where I'm going to stand. And I didn't know how it was going to unfold. I had to go talk to a military chaplain about my religious point of view on this, and he just dumped all over me. I couldn't believe it. It was the most shocking thing I've ever been through in my life. My own flight doc, who I still like and respect, but I was basically in an argument with him, and he can answer my questions. So it was just, you know, the mob mentality can be extremely, extremely persuasive. And, you know, I have family, 2 young kids, wife, and, you know, I do entrepreneurial things on the side. But, you know, the thought of losing 2 streams of income and a 20-year retirement that I worked so hard for, I mean, for literally 18 years, I'm a standout fighter pilot, no blemishes, no nothing. And then the mob mentality ruined my career, you know, a year and a half later. Oh, it's okay, guys. We want you back. Well,
that's my bad. I'm sorry about that.
Right. Oh, sorry,
that's
bro.
on me.
Yeah.
Remove
all those old posts that we said about shooting you and, you know, firing the squad, all that.
Yeah.
So,
that may have been an overreaction. That's my bad.
So with mob mentality, it's having gone through what I believe is probably one of the craziest global mob moves mentality attacks ever. I would say the thing that kept me together was, number one, my faith in God and what he was telling me. If you don't believe in God, that's fine. But also a close second was my close friends who could have an objective mind, block out the noise, and, you know who I am, know where I'm coming from, know where I want to go, and just help, you know. And, you know, if something like the fighting the mandate, it was kind of tough to find that sometimes. I mean, you guys helped me a lot, right? I mean, obviously Mover and Wombat are my best friends, but It's tough if the mob is big enough and strong enough.
He put you first because it's alphabetical. Don't think
It's the name of the show right there in the name.
But yeah,
he
so
forgot
that's
my call sign. You could see him think about it. He's like,
I mean, that's my soapbox. I mean, I came
Wombat?
through. I came through a lot better than a lot of people, and I saw a lot of people crack under the pressure, and they're every single one of them is regrets it, and that's the power of the mob.
Yep. Sure.
Doug,
is
clean it up
scary.
for it. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Douglas.
You really left me scraps this time.
Well, there's 3 of us, so.
Yeah.
Wombat and Gonky particularly, what you said struck me in terms of looking for opportunities. Yeah, sorry.
Look, your name's at the top of the show, man. You can't have it all. All right. My name's not
for
even on the title.
Looking for opportunities for leadership in those situations is needful and difficult. There's social psychologists have had their eyes on this stuff for 40, 50 years now, at least. There's a whole bunch of names for it, but the internet made it worse. The anonymity of the internet makes it just that much easier for a group of people to start having a common idea that gets out of hand. And if you have the opportunity to say, hey, wait a minute, why didn't we believe this five years ago? Why didn't we believe this 5 days ago? How come all of a sudden we're on board this thing? It can be really important. Be principled and have integrity, and remember that Wombat, you pointed this out too. You're talking about somebody else who's also a real person. How would you feel if it was you? That's all I got.
That's good.
Yes, I didn't say anything good. I'll just sit here.
Yeah,
you guys are mob mentality against me. Bullying. That's what this is.
How's it
over.
feel?
We're ganging up
Doesn't
on
feel
you.
good, does it? Doesn't feel good.
I'm always the victim here. God. Okay. Well, thanks. Good job, guys. Any reattacks on that?
I think we got it, man.
Good job, Gonky, with all your stuff. Joe says, concur. I've never seen a groupthink end positively. I just, what do we gain? What do we gain? Individualism is important, and some things we do. I mean, obviously, without some level of groupthink, we wouldn't have a society, right? We have to agree upon rules, we have to agree upon laws, and we have to come together. You see this on the positive side, like whenever there's a natural disaster and people come together and rebuild and stuff. So there is some positive to it, but I think the biggest thing is if it's something negative, we all need to take a step back and go, what do we gain from this? What does our profession, what does our society, what do I personally as a human, what can I live with? If that person that we're going after ends up taking their own life, can we sleep at night? Some people, the answer is yes. They go, well, that person deserved it. And I just, okay. I think we just need to be more cognizant of what we're doing, especially in a world where I can be part of a mob and no one ever knows my actual name. Yep. If I can hide behind a screen name or something and nobody ever finds out, who's actually holding the moral high ground here? That's it. Bob says, damn Gonky, that's brutal. And from the chaplain, sad what folks have become.
Yes. Yeah.
Watch and see if YouTube doesn't demonetize you now.
We trust the CDC, man. I'm 100%
I joke.
FDA, CDC, FBI.
All the 3-letter agencies.
All of them. Okay.
Plexi says, Wombat is killing it tonight. Always a great show when you're on. We've tried to tell you.
I just like to hear it. It makes me feel good.
We tried. And we tried to get you on with Casmo because I think that would have been fun to have you two. And me and Gonky could have just sat back and
just throw the grenades.
Didn't he make fun of me for being an E2 pilot once?
No.
I think he did.
He's a helicopter guy, dude. They can't make fun of anybody.
I don't think so. I don't think he has I don't think that's a thing. All right. Well, that's all I got for today, fellas. What do you guys got?
Wombat, thank you, man, for coming on. People have been asking.
Yeah.
We need to do something in July.
Yeah.
What happens in July?
We might be in the same geographical location.
You guys might. I might be in the middle of.
That's true.
Margot Robbie.
Oh boy.
You would never see me on this podcast again, just so you know.
That's true. You know, Gonky and Wombat podcast.
It would just be me on my own
Wait,
channel.
so you
going,
moved to the top? Like what?
Okay, the Wombat and Gonky, whatever, dude.
The wonky channel.
The
wonky.
Oh
the
boy.
wonky show.
Oh boy.
Wonky.
Dude, I think it'd be cool if there was something down there.
All right, we'll see what we can do.
Like a
man.
venue.
What does that even
A
mean?
venue.
After you just said that about Margot Robbie, you think it would be cool if there's something down there?
Oh boy.
Yeah. Now it's
Look,
late.
Kate
But
said
yeah,
something
that'd be
nice.
cool.
You're all courageous except for me.
Thanks, Kate.
Respect Terry.
Mhm.
There you go. Okay.
Cool. I got nothing.
Not
Hey,
much.
thank you everybody for showing up.
And if this is the last show, we
Yeah,
apologize.
It's been a
It's
run.
been great.
I'm glad I could be a part of it.
Great. Please don't mob against us. I really like jump
Or
seating,
do.
and I really like to get to my retirement.
We all love Boeing.
Wombat at Wings DCS when?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, that's where you
Oh.
go. Is Wings DCS? Do they link up the Sims?
Oh,
How many Sims do they have?
I'll find out. They got a lot.
See, there's all these
F4
ideas. Why do I have to think of
F4
them when I
rope-a-dope,
need
dude.
them on the show? God,
F4
it's like
We'll
leading
figure
the
something out.
horse.
We'll
Yeah,
figure
me and Wombat in an F4 and Gonky and Colonel Toon make 15.
Dude, I don't need you in the back seat of my F4. I'll figure it out.
I did not say any such thing. There was-
Well, why else would I be in a 2-seat? I don't need 2 seats.
Who's Duke and who's Willie here?
you
You
can have
grip
your
and
own
rip it.
F4.
That's it, man. That's
You
DCS.
can have your own F4, man. God,
I love it. I
stop
love
bullying me. All right. Good night, everybody. I'm going to
Good
hit
night,
the button
everybody.
now.
Thank you.
Gonky, don't hit the button this time.
I'm not touching it.
Don't bully him.
Good night, everybody.
See you guys. Thank you.